Oh yeah, boy, that was the food truck. Boy, niggas used to always be on Instagram looking where them niggas were gonna be at. Well, that top flight vegan food right there. It's better than the white folks that was around there down the street from Michael House. Them niggas junk with trash. In comparison, you remember that place I'm talking about? Yeah. In comparison, no, Cray Vegan. Them compared to Cray Vegan, yeah, Hillbilly's trash. Hillbillies ain't bad. I'm just talking about compared to them black folks. No, Hillbillies ain't bad, man. Shalom, Jay. All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to the mighty and Kadash name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. Let's open this up at John chapter 5, verse 39. Shalom, Brother Demetri, man. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they which testified me. And you will not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Alahym in you. I come in my Abba's name, you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, not the honor that comes from Alahym only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you don't believe his writings, how should you believe my words? Again, all praise and esteem to Abba and Shamahim in the name of Yahushua. Ezra chapter 6, verse 7. Let the work of the house of Alahym alone, let the governor of the Yahudim, Shalom, Brother Margaret, man. The elders of the Yahudim built this house of Alahym in its place. Moreover, I make a decree what you shall do to the elders of these Yahudim for the building of the house of Alahym, that the king's goods of the tribute beyond the river forthwith expenses be given unto these men, that they be not hindered. And that which they have need of, both young bullocks and rams and lambs for burnt offerings. Shalom, Quran, man. The Alahym and Shamahim, wheat, salt, wine, and oil, according to the appointment of the priests, which at Jerusalem let it be given unto them day by day without fail, that they may offer sacrifices of sweet savors unto the Alahym and Shamahim, and pray for the life of the king. So, I don't remember where we started at last night, but I can tell you where we're going to start at now, though. Let's begin. Let's begin at Genesis chapter 42, man. I'll tell you what verse I want. That don't renewing your license online is the most asinine thing I've ever encountered. Make it take you through a whole lot to do that. I want to send you to an app, tell you update your browser. Everybody got time for that. Well, you ain't never did it in Florida either. 42 and 6 is fine, man. Genesis 42 and 6.
And Joseph was the governor over the land, and he was that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him, their faces to the earth. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them.
Pause. Y'all know what that is, right? Y'all know what that go back to in the gospel. I'm just trying to make sure y'all remember. I'm not finna spend an inordinate amount of time with that. Read it again, Sid.
And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, Whence come you? And they said, From the land of Canaan to buy food. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him.
Joseph what?
Joseph knew his brethren,
but they what?
Knew not him.
And what did he do?
Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them, and said unto them, You spies, to see the nakedness of the land you are come.
You skipped over something. Yeah, verse 7, you supposed to read again. I ain't hear no spake roughly.
Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them.
Quran just mentioned it, but y'all in the room, y'all remember what this is? Oh, you know, Khaled? You got on a head wrap like you know. That's some people who come in like, hey, I be ready for all answers. When I go to Bible study, I got my notes. And she looked like the one that get a churn peppermints and pop them. Indeed. When they rose and he upbraided them for their unbelief. Don't she look like she get a churn peppermints and pop them? Huh? That nigga definitely look like she keep a tuck on the strawberry can. That's from my time. Y'all don't know about these, baby. Here, get you one of these. I don't want this crap. Michael looked like she giving nigga Werther's Originals. I nigga want no damn Werther's Originals. Don't try to push that off on nobody because you give niggas trash candy. Everybody in here know Werther's Originals. Gold. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I know it, but the children don't want that crap. You want lifesavers, nigga. Cream. You ain't got none of them. You keep them for yourself and give a nigga Werther's. So nobody don't like coming to your house. We know what you're doing. I don't know why they stopped selling those. D-nuts. Cream savers. They probably stale. I gotta buy candy from Office Depot and Staples. I'ma die. That ain't what they known for.
Office candy.
That boy said that's the OG grandma candy.
I definitely.
I don't know where you even buy them from. What you talking about? What you talking about? I'm trying to hide your face. I can still see you. Why all y'all matching? Y'all going to military school when y'all leave? You had your brain froze up on you for a second, huh? It's okay. Come on with it, man. Verse 8.
And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him.
Pause. John 1:1.
In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Alahym, and the Word was Alahym. The same was in the beginning with Alahym. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shined in darkness, and the darkness comprehended it not. There was a man sent from Alahym, whose name John. The same came for a witness, to bear witness of the light, that all through him might believe. He was not that light, but to bear witness of that light was the true light, which light every man that come into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not.
They didn't know him not. He said he knew them. Now, it was Joseph. Joseph got tried, and I'm not spending an enormous amount of time on that. How do we know that? How do you know that Joseph was going to be tried? What event lets you know that Joseph was going to be tried? The dream he received. If he was going to be, get him so you can see what the dream is about. Genesis 37:1.
And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, in the land of Canaan. These the generations of Jacob. Joseph, 17 years old, was feeding the flock with his brethren, and a lad with the sons of Bilhah and with the sons of Zilpah, his father's wives. And Joseph brought unto his father their evil report. And Yasharal loved Joseph more than all his children, because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a coat of colors.
Coat of what?
Of colors.
Tell them what a coat of colors is, man. That's what they try to tell you. Israel's a speckled bird. Ain't them what they tell you. If we come all colors.
Coat is Kethaneth.
A tunic.
And colors is pas. That's colors.
This is a tunic with many colors on it. That's all it is. That's what he gave him. A linen tunic at that. Continue.
And when his brethren saw that their father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him.
When they saw what?
That his father loved him more than all his brethren, they hated him.
That's pretty much what they hated the Lord for. That's pretty much what you're going to see. Everybody think they're going to hate you because you're Israelite. Nobody cares. Why you think they hated Daniel? What the book say what they hated Daniel for? They said they had to seek occasion with him from the word of his Alahym. The man was perfect and without blemish. That's what they hated him for. Go ahead.
They hated him and could not speak peaceably unto him.
They couldn't even speak. Tell them what peaceably mean, man.
Shalom, completeness, soundness, welfare, peace.
They couldn't speak no shalom to him.
And Joseph dreamed a dream.
Hold on. That's the same thing they did with a Mashiach. See, you don't understand something, right? I believe it's it's another one. I think it said the bloodthirsty seek the just. Let me see what I said. Because it say that the unjust are what? An abomination to the just. And the just are an abomination to the unjust. But see, let's look at this here. Come over here to the book of Proverbs 29. You can make it 29 and 5. Proverbs 29 and 5. Shalom, man.
A man that flatter his neighbor spread a net for his feet.
A man to do what?
That flatter his neighbor spread a net for his feet.
Now, what this sound like to you? See, this was running through my mind this morning. Not this particular passage, but what I'm about to say to you. Something that y'all probably are already aware of. Most people are absolutely, utterly trash when it comes to explaining the word. What it was, this is a dude I went to school with, man. You know, he was hitting the people with the standard Christian fare. I pray for release in your finances and all this other type of stuff. Nigga, ain't no word of God in you. But people like that type of stuff. As I've told you before, when you actually look in the text, when you look in the book of Nehemiah, during Tabernacles, when Nehemiah, Ezra, and all them Levites got up there, what did it say that Ezra and them other Levites did? What did it say they did? What is the main thing that they focused on that Ezra and them other Levites got up there and did in the book of Nehemiah? That means if you don't know off the top, I done told you where it's at. You can go look and find it. Quran just gave the answer. You in the general vicinity, but it's not close enough. It said that it caused them to understand the reading. Not just read it to them, but understand it. You know what I'm talking about? You know the chapter? Get it for me. Nehemiah 8 and 1. See, because there's one thing, right? A lot of y'all done been in the church or been with somebody else and they read the book to you, but they didn't cause you to understand. What did the Ethiopian eunuch say to Philip? He said, when he said, you understand what you read? He said, how can I accept somebody guide me? You know what I'm talking about? Shalom, man. So a lot of people are getting guided incorrectly. More than anything, I mentioned that is most people like a ministering to their spirit that satisfies their own life's desire versus actually understanding the word. What does Proverbs 4 and 7 say? Wisdom excelleth all, but in all your getting, you need to get an understanding. Because what does Romans say? When you without understanding, you worthy of death. So that is a vital thing to have. When Mashiach taught his disciples, the whole book was about him. What did it say? He said he gave them understanding that they might understand the scriptures. So the key component is not just hearing it, but that you understand what you heard. Because if you don't understand what you heard, there was no even business sitting down listening to that. You know what I'm talking about? Because you didn't get no profit from it. Come on, man. Nehemiah 8 and 1.
And all the people gathered themselves together as one man into the street.
They did what?
Gathered themselves together as one man.
As one what?
As one man.
You know what Ephesians say, right? It's one body, one flesh, one immersion. You know what I'm saying? That's what's got to happen.
Come on, before the water gate, and they spake unto Ezra the scribe to bring the book of the law of Moses, which Yahuwah had commanded to Yasharal.
That's what it said.
And Ezra the priest brought the law before the congregation, both of men and women, and all that could hear with understanding.
All that could do what?
That could hear with understanding upon the first day of the 7th month. And he read therein before the street that was before the water gate from morning until midday, before the men and the women, and those that could understand.
Those that could what?
That could understand.
Notice here, that's why you see that other statement about he that have ears to hear. Shalom, Shaul. He that have ears to hear, let him hear. Because everybody noticed that he said it twice. Everybody that could hear with understanding. Everybody can't hear with understanding. Go ahead.
And the ears of all the people unto the book of the law. And Ezra the scribe stood upon a pulpit of wood, which they made for the purpose. And beside him stood Methiah and Shema.
You can drop down to verse 8 because we didn't read through all that.
So they read in the book and the law of Alahym distinctly and gave the sense.
Gave the what?
And gave the sense.
Gave the what?
Gave the sense.
And caused them to do what?
To understand the reading.
That's the key point. That's what has to happen. See, people. So what am I saying all that for? You're really supposed to sit down with the word and go through it. You know what I'm talking about? And understand what's being read. Most people don't like to do that. So some people when they might look at brews and how they do, what y'all doing. But that's what they did back then, though. When you go read that Luke chapter 4, get it for them, man. Luke 4 and 16.
And he came to Nazareth where he had been brought up. And as his custom was, he went into the synagogue on the Shabbat day and stood up for to read.
Stood up to do what?
For to read.
To do what?
For to read.
Okay.
And it was delivered unto him the book of the prophet Isaiah. And when he opened the book, he found a place where it was written, the Ruach of the Lord upon me, because he hath anointed me to preach the gospel to the poor. He hath sent me to heal the brokenhearted, preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, to set at liberty them that are bruised, to preach the acceptable year of the Lord.
Pause. Now, we talking about Joseph, right? Now go back to Genesis 37 where you stopped at. And just because, and I know we done went through Isaiah 61 before, but we're gonna do it again because he said it after he said what he said in that Luke 4. The Lord say, "This day the scripture is fulfilled in your eyes or in your ears," however he put it. You know what I'm talking about? So that meaning that you would need to understand, what does he mean? It's too many people, they'll read a verse and they be like, I don't know what this means. Remember the Ethiopian eunuch said what? Is this man talking about himself or some other man? Because I don't know what this means. So now you got niggas, all they do is just talk about stuff you don't even know what it means. Remember what we talking about last night? That, oh, your sons faint at the street and lie at the head of the street. And dude tell you, oh, that's how you know the Israelites, the black man, because we be at the corner. But that's not what that means. So he didn't cause you to understand what you read. Nigga just told you something. It sounds like that's what happening with us. Whole time you got served a bad pack that you're going to go to hell with. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't saying that to be funny or disparaging. I'm saying that because that is the honest truth. Because if that verse don't mean that, that means it means something else. And if it means something else, that means you ain't got no understanding. And if you ain't got no understanding, you worthy of death. That is a serious matter. You know what I'm talking about? That ain't something just to be like, oh, Yahuwah straighten it out in the wilderness. No, he ain't straightening nothing out. That should have been straightened out before he got here. Why you think you get a bonus time to straighten out what you should have already knew? That means you were listening to somebody who he didn't see and teach the word. We'll go back to what we were talking about last night, now Amos 4:13. What that Amos 4:13 told you Yahuwah do? He declared to a man what his thought gonna be. That man said, if you seek after a false prophet, the same thing that's happening to the false prophet happening to you. So one of the strong elements, see, everybody think a false prophet is just a Christian pastor. Oh no, it's a nigga who don't know what he's talking about. That's dangerous. Come on, man. What verse you start that in Genesis 37?
Verse 5.
Genesis 37:5.
And Joseph dreamed a dream, and he told it his brethren, and they hated him yet the more.
Mm-hmm.
And he said unto them, Hear, I pray you, this dream which I have dreamed. For behold, we binding sheaves in the field, and lo, my sheaf arose and also stood upright. And behold, your sheaves stood around about and made obeisance to my sheaf. And his brethren said to him, Shall you indeed reign over us?
Shall you indeed do what?
Reign over us.
Do what?
Reign over us.
Come on.
Or shall you indeed have dominion over us? And they hated him yet the more for his dreams and for his words.
Now listen. Joseph eventually is going to have dominion and rule over his brothers. But before he could get there, he had to be tried. Where was the first place he was tried? When they took him and they threw him in the pit where there was no water. What was the second time he was tried? He was elevated to a high position in a man's house, and he was tempted with adultery and say, boy, how am I sin against God doing this here? I can't do that. He went to prison again. Then he was tried because he had to stay down there in prison, and he waited faithfully on Yahuwah to come up out of prison. And then he was set above the land to rule everybody. See, he got tested out. His heart got proved out that he was a just and righteous man. And when I say just, I ain't talking about just because he ain't sleep with this man's wife. I'm talking about because this man stayed loyal to Yahuwah in the midst of tribulation. He got proved out. His heart was examined. He tried his reins, and he seen what was in them. Average person not going to do that. Your brother stole you in the pit, try to kill you, you're going to be mad with God. Now you done got put in a good position, whole lie on you, you go to jail, you know you ain't do nothing, you mad with God. What you mad with him for? This is how he pull out what's in your heart. Because the first time people go through stuff, they looking for somebody to blame. They looking for somebody to blame. You know what I'm talking about? That's right, Mother Sharona. And Joseph was in prison for a long time. See, I've been to prison before. See, niggas like to play the victim. See, niggas playing the victim now about this affirmative action stuff. You claim this white supremacy, patriarchy, and all this stuff here. Then they take something away from you. Now you crying. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga, you ain't got to go to them cracker schools, man. You know what I'm talking about? You know the sad part is you crying to go into debt for a career path that you probably not even gonna work in. Because the vast majority of people who go to college are not working in the degree field that they got a degree in. You just went to college just to go. Niggas rack up 60. That's why they were crying. Supreme Court said that he can't give us no student loan forgiveness. If you know anything about banking and finance, you know full well what that court was not going to tell the people that you could just not have to pay back what you owe. Nigga, they don't live by the rules of Jubilee, so I don't know why you thought that. See, in Jubilee, all debts get released in 7 years, and then the Great Jubilee after 50 years. See, the United States government don't do that. See, debts just fall off your credit report in 7 years. You still owe them people. You do know that, right? You still owe them people. Yeah. I don't know why anybody thought that. You know why people wanted that to happen so bad? Because you went into debt for nothing. And you looking to get that weight off your back. But that's because everybody pushed everybody in America to go to college. And you don't even know what you're going to college for. I don't advise nobody to go to college unless you know exactly what you finna be going for and you know the career path you're gonna get. Nigga go to college to get a degree in sociology. What the hell you gonna do with that? I'm talking about grown men. I can see women doing that. Grown men. Because it would be better for a man to go be a skilled tradesman if you ain't got nothing that you finna go to college and you know exactly what you finna do and what you finna be there for. Man, you know what people twice y'all age still paying off student loan, man, nigga been out of college for 10 years. Niggas think doctors got a lot of money. Them niggas saddled under debt. Most doctors don't make the money you think they make. Most lawyers don't either. Shalom, Caleb, man. Man, you see them lawyers working downtown, man. Them niggas ain't making no money. Why you think them niggas don't be public defenders and prosecutors for long unless they got political aspirations? There ain't no money in being no public defender. You overworking underpaid. And you got mountain loads of student debt. You got to go work at a defense firm. You got to go somewhere and do it. Now, I know a girl from when we were young. She do corporate entertainment law. That nigga moved all the way to California about that. She make a decent living. You know what I'm talking about? But most people don't want to go to school for 8 years and rack up hundreds and thousands of dollars worth of debt, because that's what you're going to do. Because if you look your child in the face and say you want to go to college and they ain't got no idea what they finna do, I wouldn't pay for it till you figure that out. You know what I'm talking about? You want to waste $100,000 on a nigga, he don't know what he finna do? Just to say he got a degree? What the hell was that? You accomplished something and you ain't did nothing for it. It was better that you didn't even go. Just to say you did something. So that's validation for Mr. Charlie. Or validation from your peer group that you think that you better than them because you got a college degree, but yet you ain't making no money. What would you rather have? A college degree and work for a nigga who ain't got one? Or don't have one and niggas who got one work for you? Because a lot of people who ain't got a college degree, niggas work for them. And them niggas got a lot of degrees. And you working for a nigga who barely graduated high school. You know what I'm talking about? That's if you're trying to get a career, like a job. See, most people go to college, you ain't thinking about a career. You thinking about a job. So why are you there? See, like, you went to college for a specific purpose. So you could tell other niggas how to flip hamburgers, drop chicken. But I ain't gonna lie though, when I was at KFC though, they got mad at me when I was in high school. Cause I told them, I said, hey man, I read the handbook, man. The judge say you supposed to pay for me to go to school. Cause I'm like, nigga, if you want a nigga, cause they come, you could be a shift supervisor. I'm like, supervise these nuts. Cause if I'm gonna do that, then I would rather get a degree in restaurant management and skip all of that. And not be the shift supervisor and you work me 60 hours a week, 70 hours a week, a nigga don't show up, I gotta stay here. I don't want to do that at 18. Cause that's what happens. She know I ain't lying. They get you to put that at KFC, they get you to throw that white shirt on, talking about you a shift supervisor, nigga don't show up, you can't go home. Nigga talking about, yeah, but I'm riding clean in a Pontiac Firebird. But I'm like, you a nerd and you always here. Because nigga, you're not finna be unless you know you're gonna want to work to the top of the chain at that restaurant, what was the point of even doing that? You know what I'm talking about? So I'm talking about if you know what you're gonna do. If you know your objective is, I want to be a regional manager, this type of manager, then you go ahead and you thug that out. But if you know I'm just doing this for a season, man, what is you doing? I'm not working like this. Why would you go to college and get hundreds of $1,000s worth of debt? And you'd be like, you know what? I want to do something else with my life. If I was your parents, I'd find you and cut your throat out. Because I worked a lot of years and a lot of time to make that money to send you here for you to waste it. And now we crying. They took away affirmative action. We're going to have a problem. If the white man can control your educational opportunities and your financial opportunities as a man, you ain't no man. Junk don't even make no sense. Ain't crying about that, Junk. Lady would definitely tell her yesterday, you know as of the day, right? Them boys say you can't get an abortion in Florida, boy, after you've been pregnant for 6 weeks. You know what I'm talking about? Them boys say 6 weeks, boy, that's a no. I don't know what that stuff is about the stuff with the Black history stuff. I don't know why they want nigga, if you want your kids to know Black history, you teach it to them. You know what I'm talking about? And that's how I look at it. If Mr. Charlie won't teach it to him and it mean that much to you, then you do it. I don't know the specifics. I just know niggas was mad. And I know the NAACP told people don't come down here. Yeah. No, I wouldn't pay for that either. They ain't finna kid. Man, who want to sit here and learn about faggots? You know what I'm talking about? I'm coming to school and I got to learn about a nigga who like a hot dog in his bun. You know what I'm talking about? She around here and she's a carpet muncher. I don't want to hear that. Now, see, that's how they do the narrative, right? They make it seem like they ain't want to have no black studies. The whole time they don't want to teach about no sissies and no bull daggers. And that's why I be telling y'all, you better watch over your churn. You know what I'm talking about? While you playing games, you better get your wisdom and understanding up, because these people trying to turn your son into a woman and your daughter into a man or a pansexual. You know what a pansexual is? Pansexual is a nigga who would try any type of sexual activity. That's what that old chick they said they was making a big, Janelle Monáe, them niggas were going crazy. I guess she did a video with her titties out. And they was like, I thought she wasn't no sex symbol, but she getting old. And nobody trying to buy them records, so she got to work. She got to use what she got. You know what I'm talking about? She got titties. She say, I'm a youth. But she say she a pansexual. She say she like men, dogs, ladies. I'm not being funny. When you say you're a pansexual, you like men, animals, women. You'll have sex with anything. That's what pan do. You know about pan, don't you? Yeah, you look like you used to play Pan's flute. Pan got a flute. You ain't know you were playing Pan flute. You live in New York, they give y'all stuff. Like Pan's flute. You played R. Kelly? You played Pan's flute. You know. That's how he got you. That's how he got you. That's why you was always in your room talking about ain't nothing wrong. Nah, you know he called himself the Pied Piper, right? That's a play off Pan. Pan would play his flute, and the little boys would come follow him, and then he would eat them. But they say he eat them, but in reality, he was molested. Peter Pan is a playoff Pan. That's why he always hung with little kids. Talking about he ain't never want to grow up. This nigga 65. You ain't noticed that? This nigga hang with a witch and little kids. I don't know too much about him, because you know that's what Tinkerbell was. She was a witch. You got the devil and a witch hanging with little kids. Talking about we don't never want to grow up. Nasty bastard. Come on, man. Come on, where we at? In Proverbs?
Genesis 37.
No, you got what I wanted in Genesis 37. With the point of what he had going on. Come back to Proverbs. So I mentioned that because who spread the net for Joseph's feet? His neighbor. Who spread that net? His brothers did, didn't it? Who spread the net for Yahushua? His neighbors. Get him Luke 21 and 27. Listen what the Lord tell you what's going to happen when they go down.
And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with the power and greatness.
24 then. Luke 21 and 24.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled.
That still ain't what I want. Tell me what 17 say.
And you shall be hated of all for
There
my
we go.
name's sake.
You shall be hated all for what?
For my name's sake.
Listen what he say.
But there shall not be a hair of your head perish, and your
Mhm.
patience possess you, your souls.
That's right.
And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is near.
Mhm.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the country enter thereinto.
Mhm.
For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations. Jerusalem shall be trodden down to the
I
Gentiles.
still ain't hear what I want. Yeah, there it is. Give me 21 and 14. Luke 21 and 14. Stinks.
Settle therefore in your hearts not to meditate before what you shall answer. For I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries shall not be able to gainsay nor resist. And you shall be betrayed both by parents and brethren.
Betrayed by who?
Parents and brethren and kinsfolk.
Hold on. Betrayed by the white man.
Say parents, brethren, and kinfolk.
Betrayed by the Gentiles.
Parents, brethren, and kinsfolk.
Betrayed by the nations.
Parents, brethren, kinfolks, friends.
How about Donald Trump?
So kinfolk.
Joe Biden?
Say kinfolk.
United States.
Kinfolk.
That man said your parents, but the first person they mentioned was your parents. Let me tell y'all something, man. And I know people like to speak about nobly, you know your kids come first. And that it sound real, real good till you go to talking about life or death. And when you go to talking about life or death, people's survival instincts kick in, especially with a woman, because she's a survivalist by nature. You know what I'm talking about? Her survival instincts finna kick in. And boy, before it be her, she'll tell on you, all her children, her grandparents, everybody, before she let a nigga come kill her. And some of these niggas gonna do the same. Read it for them again. I just want you to know when it go down, because everybody like to tell you it's gonna be the nations. It ain't gonna be the nations now. Look who he said gonna do it.
And you shall be betrayed both by parents.
You shall be betrayed, right? Tell them what betrayed means, just in case they don't know. Betrayed in the Greek. You been out of the sun, man. You look a little tape.
Teratodomi, that's to give into the hands of another.
To give into the hands of another. Now, ain't that what they did to Joseph? Mm-hmm. Who betrayed him? His brothers, his kinfolk. Ain't that what they did to Samson? Mm-hmm. That's what they did to the Lord. That's what they were trying to do to Moses. Only difference was they just stepped to. They ain't try to be duplicitous about it. Them niggas just went straight to him. Like, hey, boy, first time we killing you. Let me tell y'all something, man. It's very rarely you ever seen in this book that any Israelite was ever betrayed by a non-Israelite. How can you betray somebody who's your open enemy? You only get betrayed. At the end of the day, who betrayed Naboth? Who did it? Ahab. Naboth from Jezreel. Was he not an Israelite? What was Ahab? Ahab knew, even though Jezebel put the play in, what the name is? Ahab know he wasn't supposed to go along with none of that. He know it's supposed to be some judgment. He know he wasn't supposed to go along with that. Come on, man. Read it again from the top on general principle.
And you shall be betrayed both by parents, brethren, and kinfolk, and friends, and of you shall they cause to be put to death.
They cause you to do what?
To be put to death.
For you to go to jail.
To be put to death.
For you to live forever.
For you to be put to death. You shall be hated of all for my name's sake.
You should be hated for what?
For my name's sake.
Come back to Isaiah 65, man. Tell me what verse 4 say.
Which remain among the graves and lodge in the monuments, which eat swine's flesh and broth of abominable in their vessels.
And their vessels?
Which say, stand by yourself, come not near to me, for I am holier than you. These are smoke in my nose, a fire that burn all the day.
All the day.
Behold, bring before me, I will not keep silence, but recompense into their bosom. Your iniquities and the iniquities of your fathers together, saith Yahuwah, which have burned incense upon the mountains, and blasphemed me upon the hills.
Upon the hills.
Therefore will I measure their former work into their bosom.
Straight in their chest.
Thus saith Yahuwah, as the new wine is found in the cluster, and saith, destroy it not, for a blessing in it, so will I do for my servant's sake.
Listen, he says the new wine is what?
Found in the cluster.
Found in the who?
In the cluster.
Tell him what new wine and cluster is, man. Madeline, you a gangster?
That's
you finna rob somebody?
T-Roche again.
That's the same word for new wine in Judges 9.
Cluster is eshkol, a cluster.
Cluster of grapes. Same way that new wine comes from the body of Mashiach, and there's a blessing in it. That blessing is the ruach. We get into the oil in a minute. Go ahead.
The blessing in it, so will I do for my servant's sake, that I may not destroy them all. And I will bring forth a seed out of Jacob and out of Yehuda, an inheritor of my mountains.
He'll bring forth a who?
An inheritor.
A seed. That would have said it.
Mm-hmm.
Not seeds of many, but seeds of one. That seed being a Mashiach to fulfill what he promised to Abraham. And everybody not of that seed. Remember what John the Baptist told the people? That Alahym was able to do what under Abraham? Raise up a seed up out of stones. He don't need your wee-wee, and he don't need your vagina, baby. He don't need you. Don't think you that important. That's why John the Baptist had to tell them people that, because you feel like your flesh makes you important. Go ahead.
And my elect shall inherit it, and my servants shall dwell there. The Sharon shall be a fold of flocks, and the valley of Achor a place for the herds to lie down in for my people that have sought me. Mm-hmm. But you, they that forsake Yahuwah, that forget my Kadash mountains.
Those that do what to Yahuwah?
Forsake Yahuwah.
And forget what?
My Kadash mountains.
What's going to happen?
That prepare a table for that truth, that furnish the drink offering unto that number. Therefore will I number you to the sword.
To the what?
To the sword, and you shall all be bowed down to the slaughter. Mm-hmm. Because when I called, you did not answer.
And when I spake?
You did not hear, but did evil before my eyes.
Go ahead.
Did choose wherein I delighted not.
I ain't appreciate that.
Therefore thus saith Yahuwah Alahym, behold, my servants shall eat, but you shall be hungry.
My servants will do what?
Shall eat, but you shall be hungry.
What else?
Behold, my servants shall drink, but you shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but you shall be ashamed.
Behold, my servants shall sing for what?
Joy of heart.
And you shall cry.
For sorrow of heart.
And you gonna howl for what?
Vexation of ruach.
And you shall leave your name for a what?
Curse unto my chosen.
And Yahuwah Alahym gonna do what?
Shall slay you.
And he gonna do what?
Call his servants by another name.
Now let me ask y'all this question. Why did he say he gonna call his servants by another name? What does this mean when he say he gonna call his servants by another name? What does it even mean to be called by a name? Whose name are they called by? What does this mean, Doris? Hit you with this bar. Y'all don't know what it means? I help y'all. I keep it quick. Genesis 5:1. After that, Ephesians 3. Genesis 5:1. Listen to it.
This is the book of the generations of Adam, and the day that Alahym created man, and the likeness of Alahym made he him. Male and female created he them, and grouped them, and called their name Adam.
Read it again.
From the top.
Yep.
This is the book of the generation of Adam, and the day that Alahym created man, and the likeness of Alahym made he him. Male and female created he them, and baruched them, and called their name Adam.
And what does Adam mean? Man. Give me Ephesians 4:1 before I read this Ephesians 3. Ephesians 4:1.
I, therefore, the prisoner of the Lord, beseech you that you walk worthy of the vocation wherewith you are called, with all lowliness and meekness, with long suffering, forbearing one another in love, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Ruach in the bond of Shalom, one body, one Ruach, even as you are called in one hope of your calling, one master, one faith, one immersion, one Alahym and Abba of all, who above all and through all and in you all. But unto every one of us.
That's good, right? He said it's one body, it's one Alahym. Give me Deuteronomy 6:3. You can make it verse 1. Deuteronomy 6:1.
Now these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments which Yahuwah Alahym commanded to teach you, that you might do in the land where you go to possess it, that you might fear Yahuwah Alahym, to keep all the statutes and his commandments which I command you, you and your son and your son's sons, all the days of your life, and that your days may be prolonged. Hear therefore, O Yasharal, and observe to do, that it may be well with you, and that you may increase mightily, as Yahuwah Alahym and your fathers have promised you, in the land that flow with milk and honey. Hear, O Yasharal, Yahuwah Alahym, one Yahuwah.
Yahuwah Alahym is what?
One Yahuwah.
He's what?
One Yahuwah.
What else?
And you shall love Yahuwah Alahym with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words which I command you this day shall be in your heart. You shall teach them diligently unto your children.
That's good, right? I just wanted you to see that he's one. Now he said he called their name Adam. Luke chapter 3, Adam is referred to as what? The son of Alahym. Now, John chapter 1, verse 12 say that Yahushua give you the power to become what? Now let's read this Ephesians chapter 3, verse 14. Matter of fact, make it 9. Make it 8. Ephesians 3 and 8.
Unto me, who am less than the least of all saints, is this mercy given, that I shall preach among the Gentiles the unsearchable riches of a Mashiach.
And to make
all see with the fellowship of the mystery.
Fellowship of the what?
Of the mystery.
The mystery meaning the secret of the gospel that was not revealed at the foundation of the world, but has now been revealed. But see, let me read it what I'm talking about, because I want to just say it in its totality. Just stay right where you at. I'm going to read this Romans 16 and 25. It said, now to him that is of power to establish you according to my gospel and the preaching of Yahushua HaMashiach according to the revelation of the mystery, which was kept secret since the world began. But now it's made manifest by the scriptures of the prophets and according to the commandment of the everlasting Alahym, made known to the nations for the obedience of faith. See, that goes back to what we were talking about at the start about understanding. See, you was reading all these stories. See, a lot of people be like, oh, you stretching that, or you doing this, or you doing that. That person don't got no understanding. So that's secret from them. See, your law tell you that. The secret things belong unto Yahuwah, but the law is unto us. See, the mystery of Mashiach belonged to Alahym. But once this man resurrected from the dead, now that information is made readily to all. Continue. Verse 10.
To the intent that now unto the principalities and powers and Shamahim might be known by the assembly the manifold wisdom of Alahym.
So now he's letting you know the power of eternity through the skill of Yahuwah. You didn't have that information before.
According to the eternal purpose which he purposed in Mashiach Yahushua our master.
In whom
we have boldness and access with confidence by the faith of him.
Wherefore
I desire that you faint not at my tribulations for you, which is your esteem.
For this cause
I bow my knees unto the Abba of our master Yahushua HaMashiach.
Of whom what?
The whole family of Shamahim and earth is named.
Of the whole who?
Family and Shamahim and earth is named.
So that means, why are you named after him? Indeed, Quran. Why are you named after him? Because that's your husband. Now notice he just said, I'm going to take my servants and I'm going to call them by what? Another name. Why is that important? Because bro was talking about that earlier today, right? Read verse 16 though.
That he would grant you access or grant you according to the riches of his esteem to be strengthened with might by his Ruach and the inner man.
That a Mashiach
may dwell in your hearts by faith, that you being rooted and grounded in love.
Now, Revelation 3. You can pick it up at verse 8.
I know your works. Behold, I have set before you an open door. No man can shut it. For you have a little strength and have kept my word and have not denied my name. Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Yahudim and are not.
And are not. They say that they say they're what?
Yahudim and are not.
See, everybody be want to tell you this talking about some white folks. This ain't talking about no white folks. Why would this man be talking to this man about some white folks? Yes, it is.
But do lie.
Why is he going? He said that say they Yahudim, but what?
Do lie.
But what?
Do lie.
See, you supposed to remember in Jeremiah 9 what he told you. Edom, Egypt, and Moab are uncircumcised in the flesh, but Israel and Judah uncircumcised in the heart. When you say you a Yahudim, but your heart ain't circumcised, you saying you a God and nigga, you lying. That's why he say you'll be of the household of Satan, because Yahushua already told you of your father, the devil. And how can we sit back and understand that you can say you a Yahudim, but you lie? Because Cain was of the house of the son of God, and he was a liar and a murderer. You know what I'm talking about? It's not that hard to see. But again, that's bad teaching. Everybody here, that's how you know them Ashkenazis, because he said they Jews, but they not. You stupid if you telling people that. Why would he be talking about some white folks when he was rebuking synagogues in him? Do y'all not understand that? All that talking in Revelations chapters 1, 2, and 3, he's talking to the 7 synagogues in Asia Minor that were owned and operated by him. So why would he be talking to them about some white folks? Don't even make common sense, man. Don't even make common sense. And he said it twice. So that means he knew it was a bunch of people pump faking. He even told them people, I seen some good things in you, but it's still some things, strengthen the things that are ready to die. He said, you need to get yourself together lest I take your candlestick out of spot. He even told them in one synagogue, you let this whole Jezebel prophesy in here. I'm going to kill you and her children with death if you don't get this funky hoe up out of here. You know what I'm talking about? That's what he told them. You know, it's only one synagogue in them 7 that he did not rebuke. And which one was it? Philadelphia. That was the only one. He rebuked the other 6. Now, I'm going to go back, right? Because Civic in chapter 3, right? I'm going to get the other one in Revelation chapter 2, right? Well, he say this in verse 8. He say, unto the Alahym of the synagogue in Smyrna write, these things saith the first and the last, which was dead and is alive. I know your works in tribulation and poverty, but you are rich, and the blasphemy of them which say they are Yahudim and are not, but the synagogue of Hashatan. The next thing he come after that is said, fear none of those things what these people gonna do to you. John 16, this man told you that they'll kill you and think they did Alahym service. We just read what this man said, your parents, your brethren, your kinfolk, and your friends are gonna kill you for your name's sake. Why would the nations want to kill you? Ask yourself this question. In the history of Yasharal, if you wasn't going in a head-up war with these people, when did these people ever come bothering you trying to kill you? Because let me ask you a question. Who were trying to kill David? Not now Gentile. Saul was trying to kill him. Absalom was trying to kill him. That wasn't no stranger. Now you'll turn around and you'll say all this stuff, and you'll see Hamashiach say, but a man's foes are what? Though of his own household. And how do we know that? Because you're supposed to know that when David got his punishment for doing what he did, what did Nathan the prophet tell him was going to happen to him? Swore to always be in his house. You think that's a game and everybody be screaming, we Judah. Well, if you Judah, nigga, it's always going to be another Jew who trying to kill you. Matter of fact, let me rephrase that. If you are the lead seed of David, let me say that. See, people only want to say they from Judah because they think they linked to David. Niggas act like David is the only bloodline through the whole house of Judah. Y'all, I done told y'all that before. You know what I'm saying? The kingship was not for the whole tribe of Judah. The kingship was for one man's seed, and that was David. You could be a Judah and still be a regular nigga. You ain't no king. The whole tribe of Judah is not a kingly tribe. And if you go around telling people that, you need to be kicked in your teeth by a live donkey. Straight up and down. How do we know this? Get them Psalms 132. Psalm 132 and 10. Tell me what it says.
For your servant David's sake, turn not away the face of your anointed. Yahuwah have sworn truth unto David. He will not turn. He
sworn truth unto who?
Unto David.
Unto Judah.
Unto David.
Okay.
He will not turn from it. Of the fruit of your body will I set upon your throne.
Of the fruit of your what?
Of your body will I set upon your throne.
That's the end of that conversation. If everybody in Judah is not of the seed of David. Has anybody ever read the book of Chronicles and the Chronicles of Judah? They did a whole set aside for just David. David is the kingly seed, not Judah. Got to stop telling people that bad information. Because they say everybody think, oh, we Judah, we the kings. What you think is a multiple king seed? What the hell reality you niggas living in? There's never been a multitude of king seeds. It's only one king seed. And you worry about being a king according to the natural flesh. See, you could be of the king seed and actually have a crown if you be born of a Mashiach, but you don't want to do that because you a goofy. Because the man told you by his blood he has redeemed us to make you what? Kings and priests. So you want to be a king through David. I don't want to be a king through David. I don't even care about being David's seed. Being David's seed is irrelevant to me. I need to be a Hamashiach seed. You know what I'm talking about? Because guess what he told you? If you overcome, like he overcame and sat down in his father's throne, where he told you you're going to be sitting down in his throne. But come on to Revelation, back to Revelation 3, man. Read verse 9 one more time. I don't want to lose the point of what we talking about with this name.
Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Yahudim and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before your feet, and and to know that I have loved you.
That's pretty much what it said in Isaiah 65. Don't you know you serve Yahuwah, man? He gonna make all these people who hate you bow down and worship at your feet? Or you just thought it was the nations? You do know it's a lot of, look at all them brews that stood up with Korah. Look at all the men who stood up with him. It was a lot of dudes stood up with him. These people always been bugging, man. But see, I remember somebody asked me that, why everybody won't come together. A lot of people don't come together for a multitude of reasons. But this is something that most women don't understand. Most men are competitive. And also, it's one thing that most men want to be that women don't understand. What you think that is, Monica? That this one thing that men want to be that y'all don't really understand. You look confused. What about you, Doris? I know you don't know. You don't know nothing. Nothing we need to know. What about you, boo? What is the one thing that men desire to be that most women don't understand? I wanted to say in charge. They said leader. It's another word that I'm looking for. Allah, dominant. Most men want to dominate their environment. You know what I'm saying? And they want to be the dominant male in that environment. You know what I'm talking about? And when you dealing with that and you coming, and this is why Hamashiach, when his disciples came together right before he died, and they was arguing about which one of them would be the greatest, what did he tell them? He said the Gentiles exercise rule over one another. He would let them be known, now we're not going to play that game with this over here. Because the Lord got enough sense to know men want to be dominant. This is something that women don't understand. You know what I'm saying? See, a woman may only want to let me dominate that man right there. Men want to dominate their environment. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? They don't, if a man is a dominant man, then he don't want to be in a situation where he's not the most dominant man in that environment. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. That's why you hear dudes clown by, oh man, you the nigga who go get the blunts type nigga, because the dominant nigga sending you to the store. You know what I'm saying? Because if you was a dominant male, nobody's sending you to the store. That's why you hear dudes talking about, I just sunned it. Unfortunately, the Romans and Greeks, they took it too far. And y'all know where they took it to. We don't have to discuss that. But they took it too far. I'm serious, but it was in their attempt to exercise dominance over another man. And that was just too much. Like, I don't even know how they came to that conclusion that was a rational thing to do. Come over here to Matthew 20, man. Was it 20 that I needed? It ain't 20, bro. It ain't that time escaping. All right.
20 and 25.
Yeah. 20 and 25. Come on with it. I look right at it and turn the page. Nah, make it 20 and 20. Matthew 20 and 20.
Then came to him the mother of Zebedee's children with her sons, worshiping and desiring a certain thing of him. And he said unto her, what will you? She said unto him, grant that these my two sons may sit, the one on your right hand and the other on the left in your kingdom. Yahushua answered and said, you know not what you ask. Are you able to drink of the cup that I shall drink of, and to be immersed with the immersion that I am immersed with? They say unto him, we are able. And he said unto them,
hold on, Karan, I just seen what you said. I'm gonna get that with you. Come on with it.
You shall drink indeed of my cup and be immersed with the immersion that I am immersed with. But to sit on my right hand and on my left is not mine to give, but given to them for whom it is prepared of my Abba.
That's right.
And when the 10 heard, they were moved with indignation against the two brethren. Yahushua called them and said, you know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them.
He said, you know the princes of the Gentiles exercise what?
Dominion over them. And they that are great exercise authority upon them.
He said, but it shall not what?
Be so among you.
But whosoever will be
great among you,
let him be what?
Your minister.
And whosoever will be
chief among you,
let him be your
servant.
Even as the son of Adam
came not to be ministered unto,
but to what?
Minister, and to give his life a ransom.
So he taught his disciples, or those who will work for him, to move differently, to not seek to dominate. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's natural in a man. He know that, and that's why he was setting the example. If I'm the most dominant male out of all of you, he told you that in John 13. He said, you call me Lord and Master, and you right. He said, but if I, your Lord and Master, washed your feet, what he say you ought to do? do the same thing. He said, blessed are you if you do these things. Because if your king, let's put king to the side. If your God can say, I can wash your feet, then you ain't got no excuse, even in being in a position of authority, of being in a humble state and not having a. That's why he said, that's why Peter said, we don't rule. See, a lot of these whole niggas now, they think actually setting up that this is what we doing is lording over a nigga because a nigga's a pussy. See, a lot of these dudes, they feel like they want to come into something and run it and tell this man, oh, this is what we gonna do. See, that's not how that works. You know how that's not how that works? Because he said if you over a congregation, that means that's akin to you being over a house. Don't you know if a man don't know how to rule that house of Alahym, boy, he got to answer to you who about that? So you didn't let these niggas do whatever they want to, huh? No, that's not how that works. We were just talking about that other day where I told you, right? That nigga came talking about he wanted to sell some weed. I told him exactly why he couldn't sell no weed. Because you was only thinking about you. You wasn't thinking about everybody. That's somebody you know. You can't be over no group of people because you only thought about what could happen to you. I can make some money selling it. But when these people come lock everybody up and niggas' children get locked up, you know what I'm talking about? You gonna tell. At the end of the day, hey, man, I ain't saying certain stuff to be funny or nothing. I'm being dead serious, boy. I can look a man in the eyes and tell him, boy, that nigga can't do no time. That nigga gonna tell. Because some niggas ain't built for that. And they ain't talking about no criminality. Because clearly, if you go into jail for the word, that's not criminality. When you talking about taking somebody's freedom away, and they go to think about the things because I'm going to tell you, the first thing a nigga think about when his freedom get taken away, he think about somebody dropping 9 inches of ungreased rod in his old lady. That's the first thing he thinking about. I'm being honest with you. A dude who can't do no time and he got a woman, the first thing he thinking about is Jody going to be picking up the phone when he called to the house. That's Jody? Can't take care of his responsibilities? Yeah, I'm telling you. And dudes will do anything to get back out and get to that woman. I done seen dudes tell to get out to go get back to a woman. Man, look here, man. If you worry about that woman not riding out for you on the bed, man, she ain't your old lady anyway, man. Just go and let her go and be who she is, man. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't finna tell on my homeboy to get out of jail, man. Under no circumstance. Word, crime, nothing. I'm not telling on nobody. I'm going to just go ahead and do that. If I ain't want to do the time, I shouldn't have been involved in what I was involved with. Quran mentioned, he said, a group of male friends, you always got certain ones that are more and certain ones that are less domineering over others, kind of like pack behavior, especially at the young teen age. You even get fights break out between higher ups over dominance, just like animals. You know what I'm saying? You do though. But see, you have some men who they're the most dominant one, but they don't mind somebody else getting the shine because they'd rather have power in the background. But that's just the difference with men. Men desire to be dominant. Now you live in a society. That's why I keep telling you, when they tell you, they want you to be vulnerable and express your feelings. They're trying to take your natural male dominance out of you. That's why they want your son feminized. That's why they want you to want to be, hey, if you want to be a girl, if you want to, that's why they want to do that, because the less dominant men are, the less of a threat they are, the easier they are controlled, the easier you can overrun and overthrow society. You know what I'm saying? See, women ain't going to pay attention to that. It's nice for you to be vulnerable and this, that, there, and the third. But guess what? That will destroy your protection because this nigga's not going to stand up. He ain't got no dominance in him. He pussified. What is he going to do? He been thinking like you for the last 10 years. So when stress comes, what is he going to revert to? Emotion. You can't trust a man who reverts to emotion in times of stress. He can't make proper decisions. He going to make stuff out. I'm anxious. I don't know what to do. This nigga's going to fold. You don't want nothing to do with that. Where you was at before this? Abigail. I can see you.
Revelation 3.
Come on back to Revelation 3. I can see you. Why can I see you? I can see Malia too. Why can I see Malia? Malia don't care. Revelation 3 and 9, man.
Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Yahudim and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come and worship before your feet, and to know that I have loved you. Because you have kept the word of my patience, I also will keep you from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth.
Behold,
I come quickly. Hold that fast which you have, that no man take your crown.
he said, hold fast what you have, that no man do what?
Take your crown.
He said, he that over what?
Come.
Will he make what?
A pillar in the temple of my Alahym.
And he shall what?
Go no more out.
And I will write upon him what?
The name of my Alahym.
See, you don't know the name of his father. We done had this conversation before. You think Yahuwah is the father, but Yahuwah is Yahusha. You ain't never met his father. You don't know his father's name. If you knew his father's name, what is he writing the name of his father in your forehead for? Go ahead.
In the name of the city of my Alahym, New Jerusalem, which come down out of Shamahim,
and
from my Alahym, and my new name.
And my new what?
My new name.
Now, what did we just read in Isaiah? He said he'll call his servants by what? He called his servants by what?
By another name.
By another name. And they say the whole family in heaven and earth is named after who? Now, what does Mashiach name mean? Yahuwah is salvation. See, a lot of people want to say it's Yahuwah salvation. It's Yahuwah is salvation. That's how you know that Yahusha is Yahuwah, because he's telling you, I'm the one who's going to come save. Why would it? Who else could come save you except the man who made the cut? How many times I told you you can't heal a heart you ain't break? You can't heal a heart you ain't break. Who else can fix a covenant that he made except the man who made it? Now, he didn't break the covenant, but he's the only one who can fix it. Why would his father fix the covenant? His father didn't make the covenant with you. His son did. His son did. You just think, yeah, well, that means was he praying to himself? Stop being a simpleton. He has a father in heaven. You just don't know him. You don't understand you don't know him because in your pride, you think you just enough to interact with him because you don't understand how powerful his father is, how righteous his father is, how unblemished his father is, and how pure his father is, that he cannot interact with any manner of evil in any type of fashion. He can't look on it. He can't speak towards it. He can't be around it. Not because it will affect him, but because in his pureness, he will automatically destroy it. Ain't that what Habakkuk say? This man's eyes too pure to look on evil. So if his eyes too pure to look on it, guess what he got to do? He got to destroy it. So in his infinite mercy, I let my son interact with y'all. So I ain't got to kill y'all, because boy, I'm going to kill you niggas. You know what I'm saying? But we don't be understanding that because you thinking Yahuwah is your father, but he ain't the father. You don't know him. Only the sons of Alahym will get to meet him. And that's it. You got to get a New Jerusalem to meet him. Why would this man give you the name of his father and write upon you your new name, and the only name you ever been known by is by Yahuwah? Because don't he say you call by my name? Get that in Jeremiah so you can see that. Jeremiah 3. See, that's why I told you this before plenty of times. That's why I couldn't deal with no woman. I married her, and she keep her daddy name. You don't belong to me if you're going by your daddy name. The lies you tell. And when I say that, I'm not talking about in the last name aspect. You understand what I'm telling you? Because what it would say, this is such and such, wife of such and such. You know what I'm saying? That's what it means by being called by. They didn't have last names. You know what I'm talking about? That's a European thing, man. Don't get caught. But now in this society, it'd be like, I'm not finna marry no chick and she finna hyphenate her name. You want to keep your last name, you got to stay in your daddy house then. Because I'm not finna take care of no heifer who still want to acknowledge her daddy. You crazy as hell. No, I'm not doing that. That don't even make common sense. Why would I do that? You know how disrespectful that is? You want a nigga to do X, Y, Z, but I'm going to keep my last name. Well, your daddy needed, because that was, the last name was evidence of who was responsible for you. See, of course, we live in a new time. What are women property? If that's what you want to call it, if that it is what it is. End of the day, what's the custom that people do at a wedding? The father's supposed to do what? Give his daughter away. What is he giving away? What is he abdicating? Responsibility and care for his daughter. And you think I'm finna take responsibility and care and you carrying his name? That's how Yahuwah look at it. That's why you got to be born of the house of Alahym. You think you're gonna walk around here and keep your family name? You're going to come into his family, you got to take on his name. And if you take on his name, you got to do what? Depart from what? All depravity, all perversity, all iniquity. That's what you got to do. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about that. What he said he had to die and be born again. That's right. I would have said he mentioned that Romans 7, which y'all know, you know what I'm saying? If your husband be dead, you can be married to another that you don't be called an adulteress. A lot of people don't, I know that's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow, but Yahuwah and Yahushua are the same person. The man who made the covenant, which is the man who delivered you from the covenant that you broke. Who else gonna do it? Yeah, I know. We don't like to hear that. That's that Christian stuff. Crystallize your nuts in your mouth, nasty bastard. Come on, man. Let me make sure I got my right thing. 3 and 12 is fine.
Go and proclaim these words toward the north and say, return, you backsliding Yasharal, saith Yahuwah. I will not cause my anger to fall upon you.
For what?
For I am merciful,
saith
Yahuwah.
I will not
keep forever.
Only acknowledge
your iniquity
that you have
transgressed against
Yahuwah.
Who? Yahuwah your Alahym.
And scattered your ways to who?
To the strangers under every green tree.
And what else?
You have not obeyed my voice, saith Yahuwah.
Turn, O
backsliding children.
Say of who?
Yahuwah.
For I'm what?
Married unto you.
I'm what?
Married unto you.
I'm what?
Married unto you.
Tell them what married means just in case they don't know. Baby Joanne.
That's all to marry, to rule over, to possess, to own, to be Lord.
Oh, that man say when you married to him, he own you. What that said in Corinthians, right? You've been bought with a price. Let me run it down. Give him Hosea 3 and 1 more time. Hey. Come on. You come over here then. You don't want to come over here then. Hosea 3 and 1. Let it go.
Then said Yahuwah unto me, oh, yet love a woman, beloved a friend, yet an adulteress, according to the love of Yahuwah, toward the children of Yasharal, who look to other gods and love flagons of wine. Mm-hmm. So I brought her to me for 15 of silver, and for an omer of barley, and a half omer of barley. And I said unto her, you shall abide for me many days. You shall not play the harlot. You shall not be for another, or for man, so I also for you. He said, you won't be for another. I'll be your God, and you'll be my people. That's what he's telling them. Now go to 1 Corinthians chapter 6, man, verse 16. You can make it 15. Know you not that your bodies are the members of Mashiach?
Know you what?
That your bodies are the members of Mashiach.
And if it's talking about members, remember what he said in Ephesians 5. This is a great mystery that I speak concerning a Mashiach in the body. Because what did Adam say when he saw Eve? This is flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. What we just read in Nehemiah, it say all the people came together as one what? One man. And he called their name Adam. Uh-oh. See, you don't even realize when he was telling you came together as one man, you were coming together as one in your husband. See, we live in a time where women want to be separate from their husband. Like we talked this about years ago when the first time that Steph Curry's wife came out and she was saying she wanted to do all these things because she didn't want to be known as a great man's wife. She wanted to be known as a woman separate from her husband. You can't do nothing with a woman who wants to be separate from you. You know what I'm talking about? Because if she want to be separate from you, she got her own plan. And if she got her own plan, she can't submit to your plan. You can't be Yahuwah's wife and you got your own plan because you ain't going to submit to his. Because his plan and your plan going to conflict. And if you got your own plan, who plan you think you're going to choose? You're going to choose yours. And that's why people choose theirs and to try to clean it up and make it seem like, yeah, this God's will. This is what I prayed for. I already told y'all a long time ago, you know the vast majority of people going to hell because everything they talk about praying for is always material and things that directly benefit them. Nothing that brings esteem to Yahuwah. Mother Sharona say, bought with a price reminds me of slaves on the auction block to the highest bidder. To an extent, you were bought with a price to redeem you for what's in Leviticus because you sold yourself into captivity. Somebody bought you back from a bondage that you sold yourself in. There's a tad bit different than what Mother Sharona said because on the slave block, you got sold into bondage. On this one, you sold yourself into bondage and he bought you back. I don't know if they did. Did they do that during slavery time? Boo, somebody could buy their freedom? I think they did used to do that for some people. You know what I'm saying? But since you couldn't buy your own freedom, he came and bought it. paid that price. But that's in Leviticus 26. We ain't looking at that today. Go ahead.
Know you not that your bodies are the members of Mashiach? Shall I then take the members of Mashiach?
Leviticus 25, I meant. No. I'm talking about Leviticus 25 is what the Jubilee buyback. And I said 26. Go ahead.
The members of Mashiach and make the members of a harlot.
God forbid.
What know you not that which is joined to a harlot is one body?
One body.
For two saith he shall be one flesh.
One flesh.
But he that is joined unto the Lord is one ruach. We fornication, every sin that a man do is without the body, but he that commit fornication sin against his own body. What know you not that your bodies is the temple of the Ruach HaKadosh in you, which you have of Alahym, and
That's
you are
right.
not your own?
Mm-hmm.
You are bought with a price.
You are bought with a what?
A price.
Don't Isaiah 52:3 say you sold yourself for nothing? You'll be redeemed without what? Money. Go ahead.
Therefore, esteem Alahym in your body and in your Ruach, which are Alahym.
Which are whose?
Alahym.
Which are whose?
Alahym.
He said you were bought with a what?
A price.
That's that redemption price in Jubilee. And that Leviticus 25, that's what you bought with. You sold yourself into bondage. Guess what? And nobody sold you. That's why that Deuteronomy 28 say, and no man will buy you. Meaning no man will redeem you. Because Alahym got to do it. Get Deuteronomy 28 and 16.
And Yahuwah shall bring you into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto you. You shall see it no more again, and there shall you be sold unto your enemies.
Sold unto you who?
Your enemies.
Sold unto you who?
Your enemies.
And what's going to happen?
For bondmen and bondwomen.
For bondmen and what?
Shall buy. For bondmen and bondwomen.
Now tell them what sold means. Guess what? Didn't Joseph get sold to his enemies? And no man redeemed him. Who redeemed him? Yahuwah redeemed him.
Sold is makar, to sell. To sell away.
To sell away. Tell them what bondman and bondwoman is, man. This will take us back to Isaiah 61 that we ain't even went back to yet.
Bondwoman is shifkar, a maid servant, a slave girl.
A slave girl.
And bondman is a slave, a servant, a manservant.
A man slave. No man shall buy you.
Yeah, that's a bed.
What? No man shall buy you?
No, that was for the manservant.
Yeah, a bed, servant, slave. No man shall buy you.
Then shall buy is kanal, to get, acquire, to create, to buy, to possess.
To possess.
To recover, to redeem.
To redeem. What is man?
Ayin. Say nothing, not.
Nobody. No man is going to redeem you. That's how you know God had to do it. No man was going to get you out of this situation. John 8 and 28. Huh? Well, see, oh, amen, Mother Sharona. So let's put it this way. Generally, when you name the child or you name somebody, you name them because of a specific action that was indicative to something that either occurred or something that was going on. So like when he changed Peter's name to Cephas, because he said it's the rock, because he knew he's the most solid one, because I'm going to build my house on them. See, like now, people just name their kids something. But in times gone past, people name their children with a purpose because names are indicative of an action. You know what I'm saying? See, now you just, oh, this just sounds good. You know what I'm talking about? So like, case in point, when you look at when Leah was naming the kids, she named them based off of something that was occurring. So like she named Levi because she said, now my husband will be joined unto me. You know what I'm talking about? She named, like Joseph got named Joseph. Now my reproach is taken away. You know what I'm saying? This is what Rachel was saying, because I couldn't have any kids. Now I had this kid. My dishonor's taken away. And that's what they did it for. Versus, I think this sounds cute. They named kids with a purpose. You know what I'm talking about? Or like I said, or the child would be named something indicative of the circumstances going along at their birth. See, I was telling Trad this yesterday, last week, I should say, because his brother had mentioned this, like you take John the Baptist. Like it was common for people to really just name their sons after people in their family. So you could see somebody in a bloodline And it could have been 15 Zacharias. You know what I'm talking about? Because that was just normal course of action. See, now we in this time, I don't want to name a son after me. I wouldn't name all my sons after me. And that's just what most of them did. I mention that because when they told everybody that John's name was John, remember his daddy Zacharias couldn't talk. They ran up like, no, his name ain't John. You ain't got nobody in your family with that name. And Elizabeth was like, his name John, and then he wrote it on the paper, and then Yahuwah opened his mouth, and he began to talk. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, they were like, no, you ain't even got nobody in your family by that name. No, his name ain't John. But in heaven, they had already told, oh, that's his name. That's an evidence of, before you were formed in the womb, I knew you. Because this was already set. I've already got John set for son, because what does Yakanan mean? Grace. The beginning of grace. You know, well, not the beginning of grace, because that's what Joanne means, because the Hebrew equivalent is Joanna, and it means grace. It means mercy. That's what it means. You know what I'm talking about? So that's why he explicitly, this is what his name is, because John went before Yahuwah is salvation. So before the salvation come, I'm going to send him who's going to declare of mercy and then bring the salvation behind that. And that was the purpose. Same way Adam get named Adam because he's man, and everybody come out of him is the son of man or the son of Adam because everybody comes from him. So then when it come in, it's showing you later how everybody can be the son of Alahym coming from this man's seed. You know what I'm talking about? But that's just how I operate. Now, of course, in these days and times, ain't no big deal. Name you children whatever you want to name. But culturally, at that time, they named with a purpose. You know what I'm saying? It was a rhyme and reason why I'm naming it. And I said it usually, unless Yahuwah gave it, because like Samson, his name was already given. That's what you're gonna call it. You know what I'm talking about? But usually it was whatever circumstances was, because remember, they didn't know what they were having. So they didn't see. Now you can know, hey, I'm having a boy, I'm having a girl. You can make the preparations, this, that, there, and the third. They didn't know what they were having. So when that child was born, I'm gonna give him a name based off the situations that surrounded their birth. And then you go from there. And then that's indicative. And when people see them, they'll be like, when they seen Levi, he joined. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else's name is escaping me at this point in time. So forget it. Come on, man. Read verse 14 one more time. Jeremiah 3.
Turn, O backsliding children, saith Yahuwah, for I am married unto you, and I will take you of one city, and two of a family, and I will bring you to Zion.
And what are you going to do?
I will give you pastors according to my heart.
And what they going to feed you with?
Shall feed you with knowledge and understanding.
Now go back to John. I called John 8:28, and I get it now, right? Remember, he said, no man is going to buy you. So Alahym became a man to purchase you. That's why when people be turning around talking about you your own savior, you don't believe your own law then, because he said ain't nobody redeeming you. John 8:28.
Then said Yahushua unto them, when you have lifted up the Son of Man, then shall you know that I am. And I do nothing of myself, but as my Abba hath taught me, I speak these things.
That's right.
And he that sent me is with me. The Abba have not left me alone, for I do always those things that please him.
Go ahead.
As he spake these words, many believed on him. Then said Yahushua to those Yahudim which believed on him, if you continue in my word, are you my disciples indeed?
And if you shall know the what?
The truth.
And the truth gonna do what?
Shall make you free.
He said, look, like, all right, he told you the Amunah Alahym will free you. What is he gonna free you from? Tell him, Lord.
They answered and answered him, we be Abraham's seed, and were never in bondage to any man. How say you shall be made free? Yahushua answered them, truly, truly, I say unto you, whosoever commits sin
is the what?
Is the servant of sin. And the servant abide not in the house forever.
Now we know that from who in the law? Ishmael, because he was the servant. He can't abide in the house. He had to go. You commit sin, what does Psalms 101 say? The wicked will not dwell with me. You the servant of sin, you got to go. To whom you yield your members to obey, whether it be sin unto death or righteousness unto life, it's to whom you obey. You can't serve sin and get in that man's house. Somebody got to set you free. Go ahead.
And the servant abide not in the house forever, the son abide forever. If the son therefore shall make you free,
you shall be what?
Free indeed.
Now I'm going to read y'all this Leviticus 25 and 38. If the son shall set you free, you shall be what?
Free indeed.
Now he said, no man shall buy you. No man can redeem you from this situation and circumstance. That's right. Cain had to go. Cain inherited. You's a sinner, boy. You can't come in here. Listen to this, right? This is Leviticus 25 and 38. I, Yahuwah your Alahym, which brought you forth out of the land of Egypt, to give you the land of Canaan to be your Alahym. And now that I read that, click in my mind also, and he showed you that coming up out of Egypt. Who redeemed you from bondage? No man did it. Moses didn't do that. Yahuwah did that. No man can redeem you. Only God can. And that's what people don't want to realize. That's why they don't want a redeemer. That's why that Isaiah 59 saying the redeemer, those in Jacob will come to the redeemer. Like you got to come to him because somebody has to pay for you. Read them out Psalms 49 and 8. Yeah, that would have said now, stand still and in awe and see the power of Yahuwah. We don't want to do that. We don't want to see that. We want to be the Savior because you want to be God and you want the praise and esteem. For the selfish bastard.
For the redemption of their soul, precious, and it ceased forever.
Give him 6 then. Psalms 49 and 6. What y'all over there doing?
They that
Get
trust
your feet off.
They that trust in their wealth and boast in a multitude of their riches, none can by any means redeem his brother, nor give to
None
Alahym,
by any means can do what?
redeem his brother.
They can't do what?
Redeem his brother, nor give to Alahym a ransom for him.
They can't give a ransom for who?
For him.
Okay.
For the redemption of their soul, precious.
The redemption of their soul is what?
Precious.
Now this book, the law just told you, can't nobody redeem. No man can do it.
And it ceased forever.
Man can't do it. Let's come over here to Leviticus 25, man. Absolutely. Quran just mentioned that he was reading the book of Yahushua, son of Nun, with his son, and it said that Yahuwah was killing more people than Yasharal was killing. That's why people always say, God done killed more people than the devil killed. Whoever said the devil was killing anybody? Like, I'm just being honest with you, right? Is that not the common thought process that most of us grow up with, that anybody who is the devil? Every nigga done grew up hearing some niggas say, the devil busy today. The devil ain't busy doing nothing but telling lies. Let me tell y'all something, man. If you didn't know this, today you'll find it out. Well, the devil ain't got no power to kill nobody and to do nothing. He ain't got no power to do nothing. That junk tricked me out when I got in the word, even hearing brews who claim, oh, we in the truth, and you think it's Satan doing something. Satan ain't doing nothing. Satan couldn't even kill Job. He needed permission to do that. That man say, all souls are mine. Yeah, he said, if evil be done in the city, have I not Yahuwah done it? This man said in Ezekiel, all souls are mine. And the soul that sinned, it shall die. That means everybody belong to him. See, this is the part you don't want to deal with. This is why black folks say this stuff, right? You know what I'm talking about? You don't want to believe that a nigga so evil that God said kill him. And it warps your perception because you be like, what type of God would do that? The type of God you created in your mind. Because he ain't never said that he was on the type of time that you want him to be on. This man say, boy, I will kill you dead. I'll kill your children. I'll kill you. I'll kill your grandpappy, your Aunt Sally. Don't make me none bit of difference. I'll kill them all if you buck me. See, that ain't the real creator. The real creator loves. Get your goofy behind out of here. You non-consequencing, you don't want to buck all accountability and consequences for your choices. You're not a man. I don't even listen to niggas who talking about what type of God would do that. I know that's a man who don't like taking responsibility for his actions. Just like I told y'all the other day with Buddy, and them niggas been acting a fool up there in Chicago with Buddy who got shot. They showed the chick bending over. Dude said, you bending over on a cardboard cutout of his penis. You could have told him to sit his behind down. You could have been on his penis. I think what he thinks crazy. But he lied though. That man put his hands on that woman, right? Once you put your hands on somebody, you can't dictate the consequence of that choice. See, people's problem is you got the right to make whatever choice you want to make, but you don't have the right to dictate what happens. Especially if you make bad choices. You know what I'm talking about? Prayerfully, usually when you make positive choices, you usually get positive outcomes. You know what I'm talking about? But when you make bad choices, you got to see, that's the problem, man. It's the society we live in. You want somebody to feel sorry for you when you make bad decisions and the consequences of them bad decisions come due. No, ain't nobody feeling sorry for you. Shoot, the book tell you that. That man say, he said, what should happen if you be buffeted for your fault? Should you be praised? He said, I praise you not. If you get bust upside your head because you stupid, I don't feel sorry for you. People say, well, where's the mercy in that? What I look like stopping a nigga from getting a whooping? Go ahead and get whooped. Y'all ain't never stopped your parents from whooping your siblings if you had any. You sat there and be like, I'm glad a nigga ain't whooping me. That's what you had going through your mind. You go to think about all the stuff you knew you were doing. That nigga got caught. Let me go ahead and slide. Some of you niggas were proud enough to laugh. Yeah, you was in there laughing. They said, yeah, you come over here and get you some too. See, you old proud nigga. That's why you got whooped. Now look at you. And you probably ended up with the worst punishment for laughing. You know what I'm saying? Because what you laughing for? What was funny about it? Kalisha said, I used to cry. That nigga look like, She trying to get off the attention off of her. If I cry, they ain't gonna whoop me. Monica, they're like, that's why you got whooped. Hit that nigga in the mouth with a belt. Wow. That's some disrespectful junk. If I was your brother, I'd have punched you. That nigga whooped you too, didn't he? Sometimes you won. What kind of man this nigga is, man? That nigga pulled a toss too. You must have always been an old tall nigga, just beating on that boy. Bullying this nigga. I'd have kicked you in your knees, nigga. You could have did nothing. Muay Thai kicks to your legs, you would have stopped. Bah! He probably tried to go head up with you. You thought you was somebody too. That's why you was out there fighting these people churn. Because you was at the house fighting your brother. You thought you were tough. It's all right. It's all right. You see this how she looking? I fight this nigga. Come on over here, Cletus.
I don't want to speak about it.
You gonna walk over here. You gonna limp back. Come on, Cletus.
You're stronger than me.
No, I already know the girls who like to go out there and fight other girls. They've been at the house fighting their people. They be like, this here, I can take on the world. Yeah, that's how Odessa was. Odessa used to knock them hoes out when we were young. Skinny nigga, too. You know what I'm saying? When I say skinny, I'm talking about skinny nigga. Still skinny to this day. Ain't even that tall. She might be about 5'3". I'm talking about knocking hoes out. I seen her take her first L. It was so sad. And she ran up on that bulldagger from Harlem, man. She dragged my nigga up and down the concrete. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never seen her. I done seen her knock out plenty of chicks. Some who had a size advantage and all. The chick from Harlem wasn't that much bigger. She wasn't no manly, you know what I'm saying, lesbian. But she was a lesbian nonetheless. But you know, you can't win them all, man. She ran up on her match that day. It hurt her pride though. Because she we were still young, like 18, 19, so she wasn't expecting to take her first before she dragged her. When I say dragged her, I ain't talking about like, oh, he dragged, like, no. She took her and dragged her up and down the sidewalk. That's what I mean. When I say drag, she literally dragged her. Yeah, she wasn't good. You know what I'm saying? And the lesbian chick, that was my homegirl too. You know what I'm saying? We were cool, but we ain't grow up together. But that nigga was solid. She beat the brakes off my homegirl. I was like, damn. Well, go smoke me a blunt now. That's what I went and did.
You just watch.
Yeah, what I'm supposed to do. Ain't none of my business. That was they beat. I come around the corner, you know what I'm talking about, getting blazed, and these niggas out here bumping. You know what I'm saying? She bit off more than she could chew that day. And she chewed her. It happened. That's why you leave people churn long. Now listen to Leviticus 25 and 39. He said, if your brother by you be waxen poor and be sold unto you, you shall not compel him to serve as a bondservant. A hired servant, a sojourner he shall be with you. He shall serve you until the year of Jubilee. He depart from you. So we won't read all that because we got to get out of here. What we got to do. Come on here to verse, I'm in the same one. 48. He said, 47. If a sojourner or stranger racks which by you, and your brother by him wax poor, and sell himself unto the stranger or sojourner by you, or to the stock of the stranger's family. See, you sold yourself to strangers by worshiping their gods. You sold yourself. Remember what we read in Deuteronomy 32? You done serve strange gods, new gods that newly came up, that your fathers did not. You know what I'm talking about? See, you sold yourself when you was around here pumping and grinding, lying and flying. You did all that. That's the next thing he say. After that he is sold, he may be redeemed again. One of his brethren may redeem him. That's why I say it behooved him that he be made like unto his brethren. of the seed of Abraham according to the flesh. Because if he's not of the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, then he can't redeem you according to your law. He can't do it. He said either his uncle or his uncle's son may redeem him, that is near of kin unto him, of his family may redeem him. Or if he able, he may redeem himself. He shall reckon with him that bought him from the year that he was sold unto him to the year Jubilee, and the price of the sale shall be according to the number of the years, according to the time of a hired servant shall it be with him. If yet many years according unto them, he shall give again the price of his redemption out of the money that he was bought for. And you weren't redeemed with corruptible things like silver and gold from the vain conduct of your fathers, but by the precious blood of the Mashiach. That's what you got bought with. Who else was a kinsman redeemer in this book? Boaz was. That's why he was able to marry Ruth. That's something that people don't pay attention to. Boaz was a kinsman redeemer. And it states that in there, that how he was the near kin to redeem. But that's another conversation. We're not going to deal with that. Now, when you look at what we was at, see, I think we finished Jeremiah. Did we finish? Yeah, we finished Revelation 3 and 12. So when he tell you, right, you shall be called by another name or by his new name. Why is that important? What does the name represent? It represents an action. You won't know the action of the deliverance until it's done. See, his name, before he was born, he was called what? Yahusha, Yahuwah salvation. Because what did the text say he would do? Save their people from their sins. So he's saving you from death. But now he's coming back to redeem you from your enemies and bring you back into the land which he swore to your forefathers. That's a whole different name, and that's reserved for those who get delivered. They'll know it. That's still your husband, but the action has changed. Also, why does it change? He mentioned Romans 7. Let's look at it. Romans 7 and 1. Praise be to Yahuwah, man.
Know you not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law.
I speak to them that what?
Know the law.
That know the what?
That know the law.
Okay.
How that the law have dominion over a man as long as he live. For the woman which have a husband is bound by the law.
A woman that have a what?
A husband.
Is what?
Bound by the law.
As long as what?
So as long as he lives.
Long as you married to a man, that's your husband. I don't care what he done. I don't care where he at. You married to that man, that's your husband. Yahuwah don't care nothing about, but what if he did this or what if he did that? That man didn't get no caveat. That man said that's your husband. Now, I'm not telling you to sit around here with a dude and he going oops upside your head, but that don't mean you can go get you another dude. I'm going to tell you that you can go get you another dude, but don't expect Yahuwah to justify it when you see him. You know what I'm talking about? Because you can do whatever you want to do. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't here to argue with people about it. I'm just not. See, people like to bring up scenario. What if he ain't this or what if he ain't that? Yahuwah ain't never said what if he ain't this or what if he ain't that. He said you're married to the man. That's your husband. And as long as he alive, that's your husband. Imagine if you say, well, God ain't this and God ain't that, so I'm going to get me a new. That's how you sound. Go ahead.
For the woman which have a husband is bound by the law to a husband so long as he live. But if the husband be dead, she is loose from the law of husband.
If her husband be what?
Be dead.
Her husband be what?
Be dead.
Then she free?
From the law of husband. Mm-hmm. So then if while her husband lives, she be married to another man.
She shall be called what?
An adulteress.
Guess what? While your husband was living in Shamahin, you was an adulteress because you was married to another man. You were playing with Baal. Remember, we just read married meant Baal, to own, to possess, to rule over. But that's the name of a false God. See, that's the problem. See, niggas so smart, they ain't no good. All these niggas want to do is intellectually masturbate and argue with each other. One thing I know, man, I told y'all this last night. I told brother them this morning, man, boy, you got people out here dealing with real things in real life. And all we want to talk about is stuff that people argue about on the internet. Because I guarantee you, bro was talking about it earlier, and it was ironic because Josiah was having the same lesson, just in a different end. About how Yahuwah's name can't be replaced, and he was just talking about people arguing about the name, period. I guarantee you, man, if you go out here in these streets, man, you ain't finna hear nobody arguing about, if you was to go out there and say Yahusha or Yahusha or Yahawashah, whatever the case may be, ain't nobody finna argue with you about that. They just gonna ask you, who are you talking about if they ain't never heard that before? Or they gonna ask why you use that name, and they just gonna proceed to have whatever conversation y'all have. People in real life don't care. You know what I'm talking about? Somebody who really in the word and they know his name ain't Jesus, and somebody say Jesus, they don't care. Not in real life. Now you get on the internet, oh yeah, man, people gonna argue you down about that all day and every day. That is correct. That Yasharal was divorced, so she can't, you know what I'm talking about? Get another man. Because you know, once you've been with a man and you try to go back to your first husband, you can't do that. The land been defiled. You know what I'm talking about? But go ahead, man.
So then if while her husband lives, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress. But if her husband be dead, she is free from that law.
She's free.
So that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man.
Married to another.
Wherefore, my brother, you also become dead to the law by the body of Mashiach.
You dead to the law by the what?
Body of Mashiach.
So notice you're dead to the law, not the law as forth as the law of Moses, but you dead to the law that's in Deuteronomy 24:1 about you not being able to go back to your first husband. Also, you dead to the law in regards that you can marry another person. That's what he's talking about. That's why he let off with, I'm talking to them who know the law. If you don't know the law, then you don't know what he's talking about, and he wasn't talking to you. Go ahead.
That you should be married to another, even to him whom is raised from the dead, that we should bring forth fruit on the Alahym.
He said that you could be married to another who bring forth fruit unto the dead. Therefore, now, since he's resurrected from the dead, now what is he giving you the opportunity to be able to do? To be born again. And if you're able to be born again, then guess what you can be? A chaste virgin. Yeah, he wore. Quran said he was so skillful with it. Demetri just say, man, that's why he quit listening to these weird internet dudes. Because dudes don't really be knowing what they be talking about. And most people just want to argue. You know what I'm saying? See, we can't really use that one because it wasn't a marriage situation. But it's kind of like the replacement of Abel with Seth. You know what I'm talking about? A compensation or a replacement. You know what I'm talking about? You had the Abel who was a keeper of sheep. You know what I'm talking about? And he was replaced with compensation because Alahym is giving me another seed. He's giving you another opportunity in order to be married back to the same. You realize that this man came and died and resurrected for you to be married back to the same person who was already your Lord, who already had dominion over you, who already owned you. You sold yourself. So he came back and bought you. Get him Isaiah 52:1. I mentioned verse 3 earlier, but we can look at it again. Then we'll come back to Proverbs 29.
Awake, awake, put on your strength, O Zion, put on your beautiful garments, O Jerusalem, the Kadash city. For henceforth there shall no more come into you the uncircumcised and the unclean.
Go ahead.
Shake yourself from the dust, arise.
Shake yourself from the what?
From the dust.
And do what?
Arise and sit down. O Jerusalem, loose yourself from the bands of
your neck. That's what you get.
O captive daughter of Zion. But thus saith Yahuwah, you have sold yourselves for nothing.
You sold yourself for what?
For nothing.
You sold yourself for what?
For nothing. You shall be redeemed without money.
Tell them what nothing means.
Kanam, that's freely, for nothing, without cause.
You gave yourself away for free, without cause. Ain't that what Ezekiel 16 said?
In vain.
In vain. Ezekiel 16 say they give gifts to all whores, and you give your gifts to your lovers and get nothing in return. Y'all know what that is. That's getting up with a wet behind and a dry pocket. How you get up with a wet behind and a dry pocket? I done told plenty of women, man, and I tell them now, even being in the word, man, I ain't gonna tell you no lie. If you gonna be out here hoeing, you need to get paid. You know what I'm talking about? It don't make no sense you busted and disgusted and you out here having sex with everybody and your pocket's dry. Well, that's what Yasharal do. You go around here, you run up to all these people, and they ain't giving you nothing in return, and you giving them all your wealth. You around here busted and disgusted. Because that's what he said, right? They give gifts to all whores, but you contrary to other whores, in that you give your gift to your lovers and get nothing in return. He said you are contrary. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. When I first got in the word, man, and I read that, I said, yeah, boy, I know he cold, because, boy, we live by that. Nigga already know. He just told you that. Didn't I tell you last night, niggas be tricking? What he just said, they give gifts to all whores. Niggas been tricking. He said, yeah, boy, they trick with all whore. He said, you backward though. You pay, and you don't get nothing. Not even a smile. Ain't that sad? That's sad. Proverbs 29. You can read verse 5 one more time.
A man that flatters his neighbor spread a net for his feet, and the transgression of an evil man a snare.
A transgression of an evil man is a what?
A snare.
But the righteous
do sing and rejoice.
See, the rebellion of Judas was a snare. It was a trap. Go ahead.
The righteous consider the cause of the poor. The wicked regard not to know.
Mm-hmm.
Scornful men bring a city into a snare, but wise turn away wrath.
Tell them what's scornful mean here. Praise you, Lord, man. For sure.
Lason, a scorning or bragging, derision.
What you think this mean when he say scornful men bring a city into a snare? Madeline, hush your mouth. Sit down. What y'all think that means? Well, who's the scornful men? It's the scribes, it's the Pharisees. They brought the city into a snare, into a trap. It goes back to what we were talking about in Isaiah chapter 8, when he said he'll be a gin and a snare to both houses of Yasharal. Because of their envy and their jealousy, remember they derided him, they ridiculed him, they mocked him. It brought the whole city into a snare. They killed God. Ain't that what Paul told you? He said, I will hope they will be ignorant. Get it for him. 1 Corinthians 2 and 5.
That your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men.
That your faith shouldn't stand in what?
In the wisdom of men.
But in what?
In the power of Alahym.
That's where it need to be.
Howbeit we speak wisdom among them that are perfect, yet not the wisdom of this world, nor of the prince of this world that come to nothing. But we speak the wisdom of Alahym in a mystery.
We speak the wisdom of Alahym in a what?
In a mystery, the hidden, which Alahym ordained before the world unto our esteem, which none of the princes of this world knew, for had they known.
If none of the princes of this world what?
Knew.
Because if they what?
Known, they would not have crucified the Lord of esteem. But as it is written.
No, right? And you know, in the book of Acts, he said, I hope you did it out of ignorance. I hope you ain't know what you were doing. Remember what he said in John 9, right? Y'all know what he said in John 9? And 37? Read it for him, Sid. Oh, no. John 9 and 37. Listen to it.
And Yahushua said unto him, you have both seen him, and it is he that talked with you. And he said, Lord, I believe, and he worshipped him. Yahushua said, for judgment I am come into this world, that they would see, might not see.
They would see what might what?
Or they would see, not, might see, and they that would see might be made blind.
Might be made what?
Blind.
Go ahead.
And of the Pharisees which were with him heard these words and said unto him, are we blind also? Yahushua said unto them, if you were blind, you should have no sin. But now you say we see.
Now your sin remain. You know what I'm talking about? So we hope you ain't know what you were doing. Because he said if you were blind, we see, but your sin remained, that means you know what you're doing. And you know what our law say, and you know what Hebrews 10 say, ain't no sacrifice for willful sin. Can you imagine if you willfully and knew that you were going to get the scripture to kill God, what type of damnation on your head? Come on back to Proverbs 29. We're in verse 9. Now, we didn't mention how the wise turn away wrath, but of course, you know, Alahym hasn't appointed us under wrath, but under life by Yahushua HaMashiach, and in the skill of Yahushua, that turned away the wrath of God. Go ahead.
A wise man contend with a foolish man.
That's Proverbs 29 and 9.
A wise man contend with a foolish man, whether he rage or laugh, no rest.
Say a wise man contend with a foolish man. No matter what happened, he ain't getting no rest. But we can't all this here for verse 10, man. Listen to it.
The bloodthirsty hate the upright.
The bloodthirsty do what?
Hate the upright.
But the just
seek his soul.
Tell him what bloodthirsty mean, man.
That's dam, blood of wine.
Blood. Say those who want blood, they hate the upright. That's all they want to do. They want to shed blood. That's what Joseph's brothers had got to. Relax. Come here, boy. Come on. Come on. And be quiet. Boy, I would get up and drop kick you dead on the top of your forehead. Hey, you come sit over here till he come back. Come on. Come on, Joseph. Boy, ain't nobody finna do nothing to you. Come on. Come on. Joseph. You come on. All right. Let's go back to Genesis 42. Read verse 6 again. Hush your mouth. Sit your behind down. Genesis 42 and 6. Sit on down and hush your mouth.
And Joseph was the governor over the land. He that sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brethren came and bowed down themselves before him, their faces to the earth. And Joseph saw his brethren, and he knew them, but he made himself strange unto them, and spake roughly unto them. And he said unto them, Whence come you? And they said, From the land of Canaan to buy food. And Joseph knew his brethren, but they knew not him. And Joseph remembered the dreams which he dreamed of them, and said unto them, You spies, to see the nakedness of the land you are come.
And they said unto him, No, my lord.
But to buy food are your servants come.
We are what?
All one man's sons.
We true.
Your servants are no spies.
He said unto them, But nay.
But to see the nakedness of the land you are come. And they said, Your servants, 12 brethren, the sons of one man in the land of Canaan. Behold, the youngest this day with our father, and one not. Joseph said unto them, that I spake unto you, saying, You are spies, hereby you shall be proved.
Tell them what proved is. It's a word we talked about last night, so.
Become, to examine, to try, to prove.
Let's examine them. Go ahead, listen to it. Verse 15.
Hereby you shall be proved by the life of Pharaoh. You shall not go forth hence, except your youngest brother come here.
Send one of you.
And let him fetch your brother.
And you shall be kept
in prison.
That your words
may be proved.
Whether
truth in you, or else by the life of Pharaoh, surely you spy.
And how long he put him in the ward? How long he put him in? Read it to him.
And he put them all together into ward 3 days.
How many days?
3 days.
How many days?
3 days.
Oh, what did it sound like to y'all? And Joseph said unto them the third day, what?
This do and live.
Because I what?
Fear Alahym.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And if you be true,
let one of your brethren be bound in the house of your prison. Go you carry corn for the famine of your house.
Listen to what he said, right? You'll be kept in the prison that your words might be what? That your words might be proved. See, read Matthew 27, man. Tell me about verse 50, 58. Matthew 27, 58.
He went to Pilate and begged the body of Yahushua. Then Pilate commanded the body to be delivered. And when Joseph had taken the body, he wrapped it in a clean linen cloth. And laid it in his own new tomb, which he had hewn out in the rock. And he rolled a great stone to the door of the sepulchre and departed. And there was Mary Magdalene and the other Mary sitting over against the sepulchre. Now the next day that followed, the day of the preparation, the chief priests and Pharisees came together unto Pilate.
What they said?
Sir, we remember that the deceiver said, while he was yet alive, after 3 days I will rise again. Command therefore that the sepulchre be made sure until the third day, lest the disciples come by night and steal him away, and say unto the people, he is risen from the dead.
Now we just mentioning that, right? Because he was saying, hey man, if he get rolled, if they come out here and they find his body gone, this will prove his words. We don't want that to happen. But I want you to go to Luke 24 and verse 15. Because what did the Mashiach tell the disciples in Matthew 16? That he will resurrect on the third day, right? He told the people in Matthew 16 also that you want a sign, but the only sign you're going to get is the sign of the prophet Jonah. Now, we can read what the signs of the prophet Jonah is if you like. You want to hear that, Doris? We don't care what you want. You bowed your head? And you flick me off? Well, you're gonna be a widower, boy, before you even get married, boy. I'm finna cut this nigga ankles off. I got a tool on the back of my truck, boy. I'm talking about. Who threw what? I ain't throw nothing at you. I know. I don't know what you talking about, son. That was Miss Michael did that to you, cuz. She sat right by you and hit you with a spitball. Hey, what I say, Michael? Hey, that boy, that crazy, man. Hey, what I got you finna read, man?
Luke 24 and 15.
Before you read Luke 24 and 15, I done forgot why I was finna look at. Hold on. Go ahead, Luke 24 and 15. Man.
And it came to pass that while they communed and reasoned, Yahushua himself.
Oh, no, that's what I'm finna do. Matthew 16 and 1.
The Pharisees also with the Sadducees came and tempting desired him that would show them a sign from Alahym. He answered and said unto them, when it is evening, you say, fair weather, for the sky is red, and in the morning, foul weather today, for the sky is red and lowering. O hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky, but can you not the signs of the time?
Uh-huh.
A wicked and adulterous generation.
Seek after a what?
A sign.
But a sign.
No sign be given unto it, but the sign of the prophet Jonah.
Now let's go ahead and look at the prophet Jonah's sign then. Book of Jonah, chapter 2. You can read Jonah chapter 1, verse 17.
1 and 17. Now Yahuwah had prepared a great fish to swallow up Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights.
Tell me what fit. Give me fish and give me belly. Belly probably should be baton, but we'll see.
Belly is mayah, internal organs, inward parts, bowels, intestines, belly.
Bowels, intestines. What
Heart,
characters you got
womb.
for it?
You got Meme, Ayin, and Hey.
Meme, Ayin, and Hey. So behold, the man with raised arms has shed his blood. What you got for fish?
Fish is Dog, that's Rosh, and Dalit and Gamal.
Dalit and Gamal. The messenger will lead to the door. You know, I guess it's this story here why Christian people like to put fishes on their cars. You know what I'm talking about? But you know who that fish on the car is, right? That is Dagon, the fish head God. You know what I'm talking about? That's why the Pope walk around with that mitre on his head that he wear that look like a fish. Because they worshiping Dagon. You know what I'm talking about? You like fish, don't you? I do. You know what I'm talking about? You seen that video where grandma say, man, she talking about that. Why you keep cutting my seat warmer off? She said, because it's a seat warmer. She said, but you keep, because it's a seat warmer. Because she said, what we're not going to do is fry no fish up in this mother sucker. What, it's shaking? Oh, she got stuck. Oh. She popped in the nose. It ain't nothing but balloons. Yeah, I mean, clearly they ain't care. They left them. No, they already been here. They talking about an upcoming event. You a damn fool to leave an upcoming event, balloons in a shared communal space. Well, them people need to get a life. Come on, man. Jonah 2 and 1.
Then Jonah prayed unto Yahuwah his Alahym out of the fish's belly, and said, I cried by reason of my affliction.
Hold on. Now, this is Jonah getting proved and tested. Because Jonah didn't want to go out there and do what he's supposed to do. So he gave him a little affliction. Tell me what affliction mean by definition.
Sarah, straits, distress, trouble.
Gave him a little trouble. Go ahead.
And said, I cried by the reason of my affliction unto Yahuwah, and he heard me. Out of the belly of hell cried I, you heard my voice. For you have cast me into the deep, in the midst of the seas, and the floods compassed me about. All your billows and your waves passed over me.
Then I said,
I am cast out of your sight. Yet I will look again toward the Kadash temple.
The waters
Compass me about to the soul. The depths closed me round about. The weeds were wrapped about my head. I went down to the bottoms of the mountains. The earth
You went down to the bottoms of the what?
Of the mountains.
The earth with a what?
Her bars.
With a what?
Bars.
Tell them what bars is.
Bariach, that's bar of wood, of city gates, of tribulation, of fortress, of the earth as a prison, figuratively.
A prison or tribulation. Same thing we looking at Joseph when you let this. Same thing as you looking at his brothers having to go into prison for their words to be proved. Go ahead.
Bars about me forever. Yet have you brought up my life from corruption, O Yahuwah my Alahym.
Tell them what corruption is. Because did Jonah die? No, he did not.
Shakaf, that's pit, destruction, the grave.
The grave. He said, you brought me up from the grave. Then what he talking about? Jonah didn't go in no grave. Go ahead. When my soul
fainted within me,
what did he do?
I remembered Yahuwah.
What the book tell you? If you faint in the day of adversity, your what? Your strength is small. If you fall out in the day of tribulation, your faith weak. Go ahead.
And my prayer came into you, into your Kadash temple.
They that observe,
lying vanity,
forsake what?
Their own mercy.
But I will do what?
Sacrifice unto you with the voice of thanksgiving.
With the voice of what?
Of thanksgiving.
Tell them what thanksgiving is here. It should be Torah. Because we've been talking about sacrificing thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. Let's continue. And I will pay what?
That I have vowed. Salvation of Yahuwah.
And Yahuwah spake unto what?
Unto the fish.
And what did the fish do?
And it vomited out Jonah upon the dry.
Tell them what vomit it is.
That's cold. That is to vomit up, to spew out, to disgorge, to vomit out.
So same way that he spit him out his belly, he spit his son out the grave. You understand? Because Jonah didn't die. That man said, I went in the grave. This man wasn't dead. That's why he said he gave him the sign of Jonah 3 days and 3 nights in the whale's belly, because Jonah being in that belly was symbolic of death. And when Jonah came up out of there, he came up out of there and did what he was supposed to do, because he had to get proof. See, affliction and tribulation will prove what's in your heart real quick. It'll prove you out real quick. Madeline, let me go on here. What's my belly? You got one on? We finna get you. We'll get you too. And you too. Yeah, you, Malik. Why are you trying to put it on him? Get him first. Then I'll make sure I get you first. That's messed up, man. Y'all ain't right. Y'all ain't right. What are that, man? Boom, boom, boom. So now we go to Luke 24 and 15. You can make it 24 and 8.
And they remembered his words.
Make it 7.
Saying the Son of Man must be delivered into the hands.
Make it 6. That'll make it more complete. Luke 24 and 6.
He is not here, but is risen. Remember how he spake unto you when he was yet in Galilee, saying the Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of sinful men and be crucified, and the 3rd day rise again.
Then they what?
Remembered his words.
Go ahead.
And returned from the sepulchre and told all these things unto the 11 and to all the rest. It was Mary Magdalene and Joanna and Mary, the mother of James, and others with them, which told these things unto the apostles.
See, this is where some people say, see, women talk because the angel told them to tell them, man, the Lord rose from the dead. They was apostles too. That's not teaching. Notice that it said these things told these things unto who?
The apostles.
So that means them women weren't apostles then, because they wouldn't even made a distinction. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think people realize what teaching is and what relaying a message is. Because difference is what people don't understand, right? And you can kind of see it in these days and times. If somebody passed away, women are more inclined to go visit the grave than most men is. Now, these younger men are different because these be they childhood peers. But, you know, women like to go to graves, keep it, stand out there, talk to the grave, and all that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm not ridiculing nobody for doing it. I'm not doing it. You know what I'm talking about? But I understand why people do it. Death is a difficult thing for a lot of people to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Is it an eternal separation? No. But it's a separation for the rest of your days. I'll tell you that. You know what I'm talking about? So, it'd be hard for people, man, depending on your relationship with that person, your mama, your daddy, your friend, you know what I'm saying, brother, whatever the case may be. That's going to be hard on people. And people go out there to that grave to go visit it for some manner of comfort because they're missing that particular individual who's in that grave. You know what I'm saying? But you see these people went out there to this grave. They weren't going out there to that grave to see if he resurrected from the dead now. They were going out there to that grave because it was permissible for them to go and not be defiled for the feast. You know what I'm talking about? Because they were mourning for him. Because how long do you mourn them for? 30 days. So they would have went around now. Sean asks, are afflictions and trials are constant in our pursuit of righteousness, or once Yahuwah approves you, does the chastisement only come when you're out of pocket? It could be either or. I mean, because shoot, Yahushua was afflicted his entire ministry. You know what I'm talking about? Sometimes you remember what Paul said. Get that 2 Corinthians 12, man. Give me verse 5.
Of such a one will I esteem, yet of myself I will not esteem, but in my infirmities. For though I would desire to esteem, I shall not be a fool, for I will say the truth. But I forbear lest any man should think of me above that which he see me, or he hear of me.
That's right.
Unless I should be exalted above measure.
Unless I should be what?
Exalted above measure.
He did what?
Through the abundance of the revelations.
See, notice, right? He said, if I get it, because he already noticed here. He's not saying that he's going to exalt himself, but man will exalt you. One thing I've noticed and learned, man, since I've been in the word, man, if people believe that you have a high level of information or revelation, some people will put you on a pedestal and some people will buy into that. And it don't even matter if you believe that I'm saying that the person who they exalt to this level knows what they're talking about. All that matters is that the people who listen to him believe it, and they can lift this person up above what's written. And some people fall into that trap. It happens more often than you think. Go ahead.
There was given to me a thorn in the flesh. The
messenger, a thorn in the what?
A thorn in the flesh. The messenger of Hashatan to buffet me.
To what?
To buffet me.
Tell him what buffet me.
Halafizo, that's to strike with the fist, to give one a blow with the fist, to maltreat, to treat with violence and contumely.
To treat with what?
To maltreat, to treat with violence.
What we can read in Luke or Matthew 11? The kingdom of heaven suffer violence, and the violent take it by force. So that's just a byproduct of what's going to happen because of the hatred that people have for Yahuwah. But go ahead.
Lest I should be exalted above measure. For this thing I besought the Lord thrice.
And what he told?
That it might depart from me. And he said unto me, my mercy is sufficient for you, for my strength is made
perfect in what?
In weakness.
So the purpose of the afflictions is to keep you in a humble state, and that your strength would derive from Yahuwah and not of yourself. That's the purpose. When you look at what happened with Joseph, who we've been talking about, all the strength he had came from Yahuwah, didn't come from himself. It couldn't. Even when you look at Jonah, he was put in a weak state. The strength had to come from Yahuwah, couldn't come from himself. It's really the purpose of afflictions and things and tribulations and things of that sort is to keep you humble. Because he already know, he said, I know your frame. I know your flesh. Niggas get out of pocket. You know what I'm saying? Real quick. And when I'm talking about get out of pocket, I ain't necessarily talking about you finna go around here and worship down at the altar of another God or this, that, there, and the third, but you'll get lifted up in your own mind. And you'll begin to look down on people and think you more righteous than them. Or you think you this and you think you that. And that man go ahead and bring you down to size. Real quick, like. And how do we know that? Because Peter is the greatest apostle out of all of them. And boy, Paul came and checked that man dead to his face. And you ain't hear this man talking about, you can't talk to me like that, or why you saying it. None of that. None of that came out of his mouth. You know what I'm talking about? See, I already know with more people in the word, the more hardest thing they can deal with is somebody coming to tell them something. And that's mainly, and it comes derived from a multitude of factors. Some people come tell people something because they just want to have the ability to say something to somebody. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, I got this nigga now. I got something I can throw at him. Some people, you know what I'm talking about? Nigga just generally telling you. You know what I'm talking about? And you can do what you want to with it. Then people pride get welled up because you feel like you ain't did nothing wrong, or why is you saying something to me? If the moment somebody telling you something and you know what they telling you correct, and your mind go to think about what somebody else doing or why they saying this to me, or it ain't that, then you know you dead wrong. You need to humble yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you automatically throwing your setup when somebody telling you something, then you already know you're wrong. Because what you doing that for? You know what I'm talking about? Because that's for your soul's sake. What you doing all that for? When he came and stepped to Paul, when Paul stepped to Peter, Peter ain't say, you can't talk to me like that. Upon this rock, he gonna build his house. That man ain't say that. That man said, I stepped to Peter, he was to be blamed. Man took that on the chin. You gotta take it. You can't have that type of attitude. You know what I'm saying? The reason why you can't have that type of attitude, because it will develop and fester and grow, and to the point that you're gonna go to hell. And not go to hell just for the aspect of having some pride, but for the aspect of how that pride is going to cause you to behave. Because guess what he tell you in the book? He resists the proud and he gives grace to the humble. You know what I'm talking about? That's what he say. And when you got that pride in you, he's not going to come near to you because you're not going to listen to him. You're going to reject him. You know what I'm talking about? You're going to reject him because you're going to be more focused on me. Ain't that what it said? I forgot something called the disease of me. You know what I'm saying? You got to be careful with that because you can't be his wife thinking about you. And like I mentioned last night, it don't really matter what other people are doing, what they're not doing, what they got to do with your soul. That would also a lot of people in the word get caught up on because you worry about what other people doing. I don't give a damn what other people doing. So if other people in the word was over there, you know what I'm talking about, puffing on Peters every 15 minutes, that means you supposed to go do it too? Well, that's what they doing. I mean, you got people in the word who smoke plenty of reefer. What that got to do with me? You know what I'm talking about? Just because they over there smoking reefer don't mean look here, man. I know some brothers in the word, man. They let their women wear skin tight pants, top boob, side boob. You know what I'm talking about? Short skirts, all that. Some people see that. Now also, I can't remember the verse. It's skipping my head. It's talking about food. But it is also talking about that be a stumbling block for people, especially if your faith ain't strong. See, when your faith ain't really that strong, and you see people who supposed to be in the word doing X, Y, Z, that get people in their mind like, well, shoot, why I can't do it if they do it? I done seen it happen too many times. You know what I'm talking about? But see, there's a difference. There's a difference if a nigga at the house doing it, or their daddy letting them do it, or their husband letting them do it, versus that's what they being taught to do. See, there's a difference on that. See, if your husband tell you can smoke crack, just because a nigga see you smoke crack don't mean I stamped it. That nigga told you could smoke it. Why he told you to smoke? I don't know. But he told you to. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I ain't co-sign that. You know what I'm talking about? Now I'm using an extreme because I don't know why anybody would want to smoke crack in 2023. But I definitely seen them niggas out here. What's that stuff? Them niggas out here taking dog tranquilizers mixed with fentanyl. I seen that on News for Jacks. I'm like, these niggas are different type of junkies out here, man. I'm glad I ain't out here no more. Because these niggas seem like they put fentanyl on everything. They trying to kill niggas. On everything. Man, you just seen them niggas who got locked up somewhere in the city. Man, them niggas got caught with 54 ounces of fentanyl. Why you got that much fentanyl? What you putting that in? Do them niggas use fentanyl straight? Or they mix it? I'm asking because I don't know. I don't know nobody on that. Stretch it. That's dirty right there. You ain't got to use. Boy, they've been stretching coke for decades. You don't got to use no fentanyl to do it. These niggas ain't get caught with no heroin. These niggas got caught with fentanyl, MDMA, crack, and coke. And 34 guns. Them niggas were ready. Them niggas had 34 guns. And you know what the crazy part was? The two niggas in the house ain't get charged with none of the stuff in the house. Just the nigga who house it was. And that's why you don't have that type of stuff in your house. But I'm just using that as an example. Like this here, right? Like, yeah. I told you, man, I knew a congregation of niggas in Louisiana. Them niggas were swingers. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not being funny. I ain't saying that because I want to disparage somebody. This was common knowledge. You know what I'm saying? These niggas were swingers. Now, somebody weak in the faith, see that, they'll be like, well, shoot. Hell, I done seen people say they in the word, talking about they got two wives and they let their wives, you know what I'm saying, bump coochies. You know what I'm talking about? Straight up and down. I'm not making none of this stuff up. But so when you look at someone, I say somebody weak in the faith, when you still dealing with your flesh and you got desires that it is that you want to fulfill, and people doing it, then you're gonna be like, well, shoot, I can do it too. But just because them niggas doing it don't mean you should be doing it. I don't give a damn. I told nigga that other day. Nigga walking around here, man. Nobody, I done seen women where nigga had a whole stomach out. Nobody supposed to see that. You look like a common street walker. Ain't no godly woman supposed to be walking out, nigga see all that. Nigga can see the outline of your birth canal. You got women in the word walking around here, I'm talking about coochie out. Talking about they modest. How you modest? I see the form of your birth canal. I see where the baby came from. I don't want to see that. And I don't want to see that because I'm looking at you like, ooh, I'll have sex with you. I find that to be vile and disgusting for a woman professing godliness that you look like a common prostitute. You know what I'm saying? That would bother me, nigga. Because one thing about it, a half nigga woman don't move me. You got the same coochie and titties that the rest of them got. So I ain't gonna be like, woohoo, titties. I done seen titties before. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. Ain't that what Chris Rock told him these years ago? It's like, son, them titties. When Janet Jackson titty came out, he said, son, that's a titty. And hopefully you'll see more of them. You know what I'm talking about? At the end of the day, once you've seen a titty, the only difference is the shade of the skin that the titty got and the size of it. That's about it. And the shape of it. But at the end of the day, a titty is a titty. Some titties sit tall, some titties sit low. You know what I'm talking about? End of the day, it's a titty. And if you're a grown man who get extra excited by seeing a titty, you got a problem. I guarantee you, if you're in your 20s, you know you're fresh in life. You 30 plus and you get overexcited by the titty, you got a problem. Now, it's different when they're your titties. I'm talking about random titties. You just outside titties. Come on, man. You grown, bro. It's different if they're your titties. Now, if you get excited seeing your titties, ain't nothing wrong with that. Them yours. Huh? Ain't nothing wrong with that. Them yours, that's your wife. You know what I'm saying? I would hope you would like to see her titties. It'd be messed up if you look. I hate no titties. You know what I'm saying? That'd be messed up. You know what I'm talking about? Hey man, niggas, everybody on here grown. They're all right. I'm just being honest with you though. I ain't being funny now. It's grown men. Them niggas act like they ain't never seen a titty before. Nigga, 30-something years old. Ooh. Nigga going crazy. You see a woman, man. Like, come on, bro. You ain't even had no woman, or you focus on the wrong things, man. See, I've been told you that. I learned this in high school. I see a woman half dressed. I see a woman looking for attention. You know what I'm talking about? And the type of attention she's looking for, that's telling me she's not a wife. Because wives don't do that. And I ain't talking about because you got a wife, because you got a husband. Now, most of y'all walking around here half naked because ain't nobody tell you no better, and they let you go out the door like that. You know what I'm talking about? Because if your daddy was in the house and he let you couldn't, none of y'all niggas, if any of you niggas walked out the door half naked and you lived in my house, I promise to you, the doors would be locked and the locks would be changed. Because I want to figure out who the hell let whole clothing come in my house. Because I'm going to shoot your mama a fade first and foremost. You know what I'm talking about? I'm dead serious. Like, man, I come in here, oh, you got on whole shows? I'm going to find your mama. I'm finna shoot your mama a fade. Because clearly she had to buy them, or she knew you bought them and let you bring, because ain't no way in the hell I bought that. Some of y'all know y'all used to come out the house with shorts on, start right at the cuff of your cheek. And you think you look good. I'm finna whoop your behind. I'm finna fade you and your mama. That's one of the reasons why I ain't never had no kids before I got married. I'm like, boy, if I had a daughter, man, and my daughter dressed like a whore, boy, I'm pulling straight up to your mama house, boy, and I'm swinging on her. I'm swinging on her. Shalom, Sister Jace. I'm swinging on her. I ain't even being funny. Cause I'm like, come on, man, don't send my baby out the door like that. That ain't cool. I don't approve of none of that. See, you got some men, they just turn their head to it. You know, that's what they do. I'll be damned. And like I said, I was on that before the word. No, sir. No, man. That's not happening. Not mine. She can get out my house and she can dress like the prostitute she is, and that's what she want to do, but she won't do that and live in my house, and I take care of her. No, you're not doing that. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm not going for that. You know what I'm saying? That's my daughter. She represents me. She carried my name. You know what I'm talking about? That'd be no different. Would you let your son come outside around here with well, I guess they do it now, you know, with extra tight pants on and a Jamaican shirt with his nipples out? You want this nigga out here dressing like Lenny Kravitz? Because this nigga's not staying in my house dressing like Lenny Kravitz. No, that's not happening. He damn sure not living in my house with a dress on. Man, if I was to come home and my son dressed inappropriate, I'm swinging on him. I'm swinging on Mom Dukes first and foremost. You had to know what was going on, because you know when you're in the world and it's inappropriate clothing, Mom Dukes always know, and she always turn her head. Look at you looking. Your mama turned your head to your inappropriate clothes. Some of y'all probably was a young girl who put the different change of clothes in your backpack. You went out the house with one outfit on and came back home with another. How many of y'all had to change the inappropriate clothes in your bag when you left the house? Doris. So you just walked out the door inappropriate. See how you just turned that a lie to me? In high school, you was what? What you call good? Oh, so you were hanging with white children. So you were hanging with white, because ain't no niggas no punk rock. Because that's not no nigga style. It's all right if you were hanging with white children.
With niggas.
Oh, you thought you were Jim Jones. You had a nose chain. This nigga lame as hell. You was a golf chick? Soft emo? What in the hell? So, hey, so, boo, so she was like that video he was looking at when that nigga was like, leave me alone. That was you? Playing that rock music, talking to your, I hate you, Mom. I want some Chick-fil-A. That was you. I don't know. Yeah. Your mama might have fought you. Yeah, she looked. Dang, that's how you were living. You ain't know yourself. Nigga, if you walk around with a nose chain, that's definitely not nigga conduct. So you didn't know yourself. No, when I say that, because you say everybody was doing it, you was a child, you was just following what everybody was doing. But you were doing what other niggas were doing. So you were doing what other niggas were doing. Where you seen that at? On what? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that stuff is, man. I don't be on all that stuff. You was out here doing that. Well, we know that. That Civic told that story about when he was in college. We know what he was doing. It's okay. See, you ain't know this. But when he was at college, he dressed like a real Jamaican. So he would come outside with a half, you know what I'm saying, cut soccer jersey with some Nike Cortez with socks to his knees. He did, though. And he used to run around campus. You want to romp with me? You were listening to rock music? That nigga said, don't never disrespect him like that.
All my white friends listen to black music.
He said all his white friends were Massachusetts Wiggers.
You ain't got pictures don't mean nothing. Them niggas listen to black music.
Is that true?
What?
They weren't workers because they lived in, some of them from the whitest of white towns in Massachusetts, but they like black music.
And they were his friends. While he was bouncing soccer balls on his knees, talking about rude boy. With no locks. That's how he was living. You know, it'd be hard to spot a Jamaican when they ain't got no locks. They got a low cut, you don't be thinking they be Jamaican, but they be Jamaican. He said, rude boy, you want to romp with me? The original Jamaican Don Dada. I kill people for fun. Go ahead, man. Where you at?
You know what this Happy Birthday is called?
What was you, Kalisha? What was Kalisha out here doing? Kalisha talking about she walking around here with nose chains on. What you had around here was you. I want to know, what is soft emo? What the hell is that?
You know that guy you watched on YouTube where he had like the black hair, the guy with the messed up teeth. He did like a music video. He was like dressed like
Oh, you talking about the skit?
Yeah.
You talking about Tyreek?
Yeah.
Yeah, that nigga that's stupid.
That's
Soft emo. So you're emotional. Oh, Lisa said that was her having her whole clothes in her bag. You know what I'm talking about? Well, I wish I would. Because, see, I knew girls who had whole clothes in their bag. Man, I'm knocking this nigga clean out. You know what I'm saying? Because I might be the type of pop up at the high school. Where my daughter at? Didn't see what you got on. And I'm going to whoop you in front of all your friends. Open fist. Bop, bop, bop. Where your stinking behind mom at? I know you learned this from her. Now, I ain't going to whoop in front of her friend because then she going to be a hoe for real. I'm going to whoop her when she get home, though. Oh, yeah, you embarrass her in front of all her friends, she definitely going to rebel then. I guarantee. Well, you embarrass a girl in front of all her peer group, she definitely going to rebel. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, that's one thing you'll never do. Don't never embarrass no little girl in front of all her peers. That's the last thing you want to do because she going to rebel to the utmost. Y'all already rebellious. That's the last thing you want to do is give them a reason. You know what I'm talking about? The same way I told you, like, you don't want to shelter. You want to tell them what's going on in life. And then also, damn, just in my brain, man. You want to deal with girls differently because they buck. They'll buck real quick, like, you know what I'm talking about? The best way to keep them is to keep them occupied. You know what I'm saying? If they got things to do, they ain't got no time to go around here playing with no wee-wee. You know what I'm saying? They got extracurricular activities. They got class. They got something to do. We gonna be the last thing on their mind. They ain't got no time. Man, you let a young girl have too much time, man, especially if you're gonna send that child to public school, she gonna be thinking about some wee-wee. It's gonna be too many opportunities. Her titties starting to sprout, her hips starting to develop, her butt starting to get round, and little boy starting to pay attention. And this generation getting hornier and hornier. Niggas been freaks now. Because I seen a lady talking about this the other day, and she ain't told no lie. This new older people always want to talk about, look at these young kids, what they doing. And she gave a strong point. Now, I was a child. But niggas was going to an event called Freak Neek. You know what I'm saying? You can't be talking about these children when niggas frequented an event called Freak Neek. Some of y'all ain't never been to Daytona. When it was Daytona. I have. That junk I ain't never want to go back. Just because I'm like, all right, man, there's a bunch of, like, because, nigga, I'm not trying to sleep with all these women. Nigga, this is not moving. Ain't nothing but a whole bunch of freaking nasty women. Now these women grown, and they don't want nobody to know how much of a freak they were. You know what I'm talking about? Now you're looking at the young kids, and you want to talk about them. She learned hoeing from you. And her grandma. Y'all passed the whole train down. Yeah, man, you got to watch over, man. You know what I'm saying? You better be careful. Because, boy, it's a young man with some wee-wee waiting for your daughter. He waiting for him. He waiting for you to slip up in some area so he can ravage your daughter. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, man, you don't want to do that. I've been told you, don't send them little girls to no college campus unsupervised. You hear a story about your daughter, you'll cry in the bathroom. You're playing game, man. Y'all know what's. See, we want to. Niggas get kids and act like reality stop because you got to have a child. You know what I'm saying? That won't happen to my baby. The hell it won't. Your baby ain't special. You know what I'm talking about? Your baby is not special. That the pools, the lust of the world won't pull on them. You know what I'm talking about? You got to prepare them. You got to watch over them. All that there, man. Your baby is not special. Especially when we talking about dealing with the word, man, and you want your children to be godly. I done told y'all this numerous times. They're going to go out there and see kids doing stuff that they ain't never been able to do. They thinking they missing something. You know what I'm saying? So you would have to explain to them in totality, not just don't do that, baby. That ain't hitting on nothing. That's like they say in wrestling, that's lazy booking. Don't do drugs, don't have sex. That don't explain nothing to them. You would have to literally explain to them, when you behave like this is what can happen. These are the consequences from this type of behavior. I don't want that to happen to you. When you want to act like nothing ain't happened and take the easy route, now your son come home switching, talking about his name Geraldine. Dang, boy. Sean say allegedly his uncle cried when his cousin told him that she was a lesbian. I wouldn't have cried. That ain't bothered me that much. I know you just confused. You know what I'm saying? Because I know I say that because I know with most lesbians, you still playing with some wee-wee on the side. You know what I'm saying? But if my son came home and said he was a Peter Puffer, a rump ranger, I ain't crying. I'm going to prison. Because that nigga dying. I'm finna shoot this nigga. And he say he'll take a long, nigga, take more than a long walk. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna tell you no word. So the nigga come in to my daddy, I'm gay. Okay, son, don't ever come here no more. Because I ain't got no son. Don't come here no more. Not while you doing that. Long as you putting hot dogs in your bun, son, I ain't got no son. Don't come over here. Don't come over here. You can't, don't come over here. Please don't. I don't want you here. You're not welcome. You know what I'm talking about? If you need something, son, call me. I got you. I ain't got no problem with you tonight. I ain't saying you know what I'm talking about, but you're not welcome here. Not welcome here. Ain't no evil in this house. That's what them old black ladies used to say. Don't bring that evil in this house. You walking in here, all of a sudden, I thought somebody making cake is you. You've been playing in chocolate frosting. You got to go. You got to go. You can't stay here. No, sir. But I done told you that also in the same token. If I come home and I find out you're hunting in my house, oh, you got to go. You can't stay here. I'm talking about that son or daughter. Oh, we ain't no discrimination. Ain't no that's my boy. All you evil bastards getting up out of here. No, you're not staying in here doing that. Only people get frisky in this house is me and your mama. And if you're old enough to hunt, you're old enough to pay bills. That means you're grown, because that's grown people activity. And that's the problem. You start participating in grown people activity before you have the mental maturity to understand what you're doing. You know what I'm talking about? So since you think you're grown, you can grownly leave my house. Because you're grown. Clearly, son, you're grown. You know how to pull your wee-wee out and use it. So clearly you know how to use a financial instrument and pay some rent. Because you're not staying here. Nigga ain't finna be staying in my house having sex. And I'm just looking at it like, yeah, I serve God, but my son, he got about 4 holes on the side. Yeah, but my daughter got 3 kids from 3 different niggas. Oh, no, that's not happening. I failed. So if I done failed, I'm going to stop the failure off the first sin and get you out of here. And when I say fail, not that it means necessarily you didn't do your job, but the end result didn't happen. That's failure. You ain't got to like it, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? If you taught them properly, just like say with Samuel's sons, you taught them properly, but they chose to go another way. Was that a success? No, it wasn't. Hey, I failed at that opportunity. It is what it is. You ain't got to beat yourself up about it if you know you did what you were supposed to do. I mean, it's failure because I didn't complete the task. It'd be no different if you lifting weights, man. Are you a failure if you were shooting for 10 reps, but you only got 7? You were going for 10. You failed because you wanted 10. I wanted you to be a godly seed. I didn't succeed in that. At the end of the day, these are your choices, but I didn't complete my mission. But I'm not going to beat myself up about it if I know I did what I'm supposed to do. I just didn't. Hey, it didn't work out. This nigga likes men. You know what I'm saying? Clearly, this nigga's a pervert. I can't do nothing about that. Now, if you didn't do your job, then that failure's on you. You know what I'm talking about? But it's still a failure nonetheless. But I'm framing it in this aspect for perspective. If you know you did, it's just like this here, right? If you know you did everything you needed to do to flip a house to make X amount of profit that you had engineered from the beginning, and you didn't make it, that endeavor may not be a failure if you sold it and making a profit, but it was a failure from the initial projection because I didn't hit it. You know what I'm talking about? So my projection was for you to be a godly child. I did everything I was supposed to do to get you in that position, and you chose to be a sinner. I failed, but that failure is not with me. That failure is with you. You know what I'm talking about? For you failing to resist your lust. But if I didn't do my job, that failure with me. You know what I'm talking about? Because I didn't give you the proper information, structure, and guideline for you to be successful. I got to wear that. Now, don't get me wrong. Everybody's accountable for their own sin. I'm just talking about the aspect of being a leader. You know, hey, I gave you what you needed. I didn't succeed in that endeavor. But at the end of the day, I did what I was supposed to do. Or like what Paul said, I ain't left nothing back under you that was profitable. If I gave you every bit of word I could give you for you to save your soul and you go to hell, that's on you. You know what I'm talking about? But you have to also accept the fact that you can't win them all. You know what I'm talking about? You can't win them all. Because at the end of the day, them children, you don't know what them children going to do. You don't know what direction they going to go. You don't know what choices they going to make. All you can do is arm them with the proper information and hope that he give them a mind to do what's right. You know what I'm talking about? Because who knows? Like I said, we talked about it before. Samuel was a just man, and his sons were evil as hell. You know what I'm saying? They ain't had nothing to do with Samuel. Samuel ain't got no evil report in this book. But his sons, they like to prophesy for filthy lucre. They wanted money. Hush your mouth. That's what you do. Know that. Where you at, Sid? We need to finish this Genesis 14.
You don't say Corinthians 12?
Yeah, keep on going.
Of course not.
Oh, so Derek asked, so where does the proverb train up a child in the way that he should go apply? Finish where you're in Corinthians, and then we'll go get it.
All right, and he said unto me, my mercy is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather esteem in my infirmities.
I rather esteem in my weaknesses,
that the power of Hamashiach may rest upon me. Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities and reproaches and necessities and persecutions and distresses for Hamashiach's sake. For when I am weak, then am I strong. I am become a fool in esteeming, yet you have compelled me.
So that's what goes with what Sean mentioned, right? It's better for us to take esteem in the weaknesses that we would go through so that the strength of God can rest on us. You know what I'm talking about? Versus saying, look how strong I am and this, that, there, and the third. Because eventually you'll buckle under your own pride and stumble to your own destruction. Proverbs 22:6.
Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it.
Tell him what train means.
Train up is kanak, to train, to dedicate, to inaugurate.
To dedicate, you know what inaugurate is, right? That's from the beginning. So is train up all that one word?
Mm-hmm.
So we don't need child. We know the way is the rock, and what is go?
The way he should go. That's what you just said.
That's just the rock.
Mm-hmm.
What is depart?
Depart is sword. To turn aside, to depart.
So notice the key thing, right, is inaugurate or dedicate. Or like how Samuel was dedicated from the beginning. You want to dedicate yourself from the beginning and training them up in the way that they should go. But even when you don't think Samuel trained his sons up in the way that they should go. But at the end of the day, everybody's responsible for their own sins. Because everybody got their own lust in their own mind. And you ain't got no control over that. So to train up, you know what I'm saying? You want to, 9 times out of 10, if you hit a child off with information from the day that they born till, maturity, they usually will hold fast to what you showed them. But the key component is that whatever you showing them, that you doing it too. Because if you telling them to do one thing and you doing another, they probably not going to listen. That's why I've always told you, you don't want to wait to start till a child be like, oh, this age I'll tell them. You need to go ahead and tell them now. And I always told you, I'm not a believer of talking to children like children. I would go ahead and talk to them like adults and give them information plainly, regardless of their age. You may have to explain it to them in a way that they can understand it, but it's better to get information to them as early as possible. Especially from 0 to 5 is when you want to put it on in them. Then on top of that, you want to be able to have a greater influence than their peers going to have. Because if you wait too long to give them information, their peers will end up having more of an influence over you than them when you try to say, I'll wait till they older. because then it's going to be too late. That's the biggest part of training up a child is that you'll have a greater influence over them than the world and their peers have. You know what I'm talking about? But if you don't tell them nothing, they peers going, because all y'all been kids, and whether your peers had influence over you or not, you knew that a lot of your peers did have was influenced by the people around them. Most of y'all probably would have never tried marijuana if it wasn't for your peers. Most of y'all would have probably never drunk alcohol if it wasn't for your peers. Some of y'all probably wouldn't have participated in risky sexual activity if it wasn't for your peers. You know what I'm saying? And that's just being honest. We don't like to admit it because everybody want to say, nobody don't influence me. You know how many niggas been influenced to go shoot somebody? Some of y'all been influenced to go fight. Nigga walk around, that nigga tried me, cuz. You like this here. In your mind, son tell you, man, I don't need to be fooled up with this nigga, man. You know what I'm saying? But he tell me, nigga, try me, bro. We got to swing on these niggas. Now you influenced to go. Not out of a sense of fidelity, but just out of a sense of this is what this nigga telling me to do. He need me to do it. I got to go do it, even though I don't want to do it. Come on back to Isaac. Matter of fact, we'll get Genesis 42, y'all willing, on the next one. Hallelujah for Yahushua the word, man. We're going to stop right there. I appreciate y'all. I bless y'all the house of Alahym in the name of Yahushua. Y'all willing, we'll pick that right back up about that prison and proving them words. And Isaiah 61, if the Lord permit. Because, yeah, man, I'm telling you, don't the book tell you love not the world, neither the things in the world, and to be in the world, but not of the world? Because it has an influence. We can't deny that influence. It is there. You can't walk around here. Well, we in the word, so the world ain't gonna influence my kids. Now you looking at your kids like they're an adult like you. You know what I'm saying? You can't make that mistake of looking at these kids and thinking that they have the cognitive ability of a grown person when they have none of the life experiences and situations that you've had. And on top of this, they ain't you. So I don't care how strong you might think you is, that nigga's not you. But yeah, man, y'all willing, man, we'll be back on Wednesday to do it again. And until that time, I bid you adieu.